What a game!
Gilmore! Sundin wins the game!
Ben! Whoa! Nylander! Big Pappy has given the Leafs the lead! This time we're gonna finish the job!
The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Pittsburgh Penguins in a next-gen game, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what to call this one, but I do know one thing for sure. Moves have been made. The Toronto Maple Leafs have fired their assistant coach, Mark Savard, I guess. And we've had a couple of videos on it already, Nick and myself. And we're getting ready here for a watch-along, guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Hope everyone is having a great holiday season and gearing up for Christmas or whatever you celebrate. And we're just moments away from puck drop here, guys. And a couple updates. Chris Tanev is playing today. Chris Tanev is in the lineup. He's making his return. So that's some good news. We got updates from, I'll get to some stuff from Treliving in the first commercial break, because we have that. I started the stream a little bit late. Apologies for that, everybody. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. JC, what's going on? Hillary, what's going on? Kirk, go Leafs, go. Joshua, nice to see you in the chat. Hope everyone's having... Oh, yeah, I forgot about Stuart Skinner. He's starting for the Pittsburgh Penguins. This should be an interesting one. The power play has no coach tonight. It is Derek Lalonde running it. However, they said it's going to be a team effort afterwards. I have no idea what that means. No idea. I mean, I do have an idea. I don't know how that's going to go, I should say. Also, and Chris, what's going on? Go Leafs, go. Also, everyone, thank you for allowing us to hit 23,615 subscribers. Really appreciate you guys. Your support has been unbelievable on the channel. Appreciate every single one of you. We are just moments away from puck drop here. Sidney Crosby going up against... What is Pittsburgh wearing, by the way? We got a color-on-color matchup. Pittsburgh's wearing their alternate yellows against the Leafs home blues. Austin Matthews lines up against Sidney Crosby, and we are underway in this one. This is a crazy color matchup. This is an insane visual. I love this. We got the first line starting tonight, or a weird combination of the first line that has McMahon, Matthews, and Domi on that top line. We have an icing here against Pittsburgh. It's going to go down to the Penguins zone. Shout out everybody watching on this early afternoon game, or late afternoon, I guess. Early evening game, 4 o'clock start here. An odd one, but they did this last year. I believe it was a 2 o'clock start against the Winnipeg Jets last year. So nice for the kids to get to watch a game on Christmas break. Time to turn it around from Nate. And she can't wait. Puck is down here in the offensive zone. So we got Matthews centering McMahon and Domi today. We got the defense pairings are pretty much the same. Jake McCabe and Troy Stetcher. Then we have Michelli, Tavares, and Nylander. We saw that last game. Third line is Nyes with Waugh and Robertson. So that's an odd one. Fourth line, Dakota Joshua, Scott Law, and Steven Lorentz. So exactly what we saw last game. That third line is very interesting to me. First pairing is Phil Meyer and, ooh, nice pass in front from Austin Matthews to Domi. I imagine there's going to be a little bit of fire under the Leafs today. Because obviously you fired your assistant coach. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, but you do often see it with teams sometimes. There's a little bit of fire. Third line is interesting. It's on right now. And you got Robertson and Nyes centered by Nick Waugh. That's an interesting one. Nyes has been abysmal lately. Also, for those of you who missed it, and shout out to all of you in here right now, Chris Tanev is playing today. Chris Tanev is on the ice right now. He is back in the lineup. Very anticlimactic end to that whole saga, where it was like, I was imagining like he gets into practice and, oh yeah, he's returning to the lineup in 3 days or whatever, and there was going to be a build up to it. But no, he's playing. He's in the lineup today. He got clearance, feels good, and he's ready to go. So that's good news. A little bit sloppy in their own zone right now. A lot of play in the neutral zone so far in this one. A couple good chances. Shots say 0-0. I know Domi had a shot on goal, so I'm sure they'll correct that. And we got a shot in on goal, and it is gloved by Joseph Woll, who is your starter tonight as well. But I think most people would have assumed that one, so he is the starter today. But nice little pass by Matthews from behind the net to Domi. And Domi gets a pretty good opportunity there. Puck is down in the Leafs defensive zone. Ooh, shot on goal from the point. Go to Joshua, outmuscles his man. Puck is out to center to Steve Lorentz. It's chipped into the zone. He's giving chase. The Pittsburgh Penguins without Harrison Brunick today. Rookie defenseman. He has been loaned to Team Canada's World Junior team. And he has made the team. No World he gets cut. So he is going to make that team. And he will be playing on Friday for Team Canada. Not in this game. We've already seen him a couple times this season as Leafs fans. But yeah, not in this one. What's up, Joshua? I hope you're having a good holiday so far. I don't know if you're off work or what's going on with that. I don't know. There's a lot of people off work already, so hope you're enjoying that. Go Leafs go. Go Leafs go. Yeah, Chris Tanev. I mean, that's great news. Great news. First line's back out there. McMahon's an interesting player. He's been pretty good, I think, so far this season, but oh, nice save by Wool there on the far post. Stop and play here. Don't put that energy out there. Tanev is not going to get hurt, guys. Tanev is not getting hurt. JC is not a bot. He's just a very passionate Leafs fan. He is just a passionate Leafs fan. Who's been in every stream, by the way. Shout out to you, man. Offensive zone face-off here. Leafs have possession in the zone. I can't get over these jerseys, man. This is wild. No, Chris Tanev is not getting hurt. Don't put that out there. He's not getting hurt. He's good. He feels good. He feels good. Shot off of Riley. Out of play. Get a break and play here. Yanaki, they absolutely better win. I mean, I don't care about, like, the coach getting fired thing, the assistant coach, like, Mark Savard thing. Like, just win the game, dude. I just want to see a win before Christmas. Is that too much to ask? Is that too much to ask? I just want to see a win. Goal is coming soon for the Leafs here. I can smell it. Shout out to you, Chris. Whoa. Interesting play there. Sorry, guys. I'll try and do a better job of play-by-play here. I'm just kind of watching it. There's just a neutral zone mess this game is so far. We need a commercial break so both teams can kind of settle in here. JC says the Leafs will score in 3, 2, 1. And they score! I'm joking. That would have been funny, though, huh? Great play by Tanev to break that play up, man. I have missed this guy. He has not played in almost 2 months. Can you believe that? Already? The day of Game 7, he got hurt. The Blue Jays Game 7 of the World Series. Crazy. Crazy it's been that long. Oh, boy. I have no idea why Hayes passed that off. Oh, it's right in the slot. Nice play by Nice to break that up. Good block shot there by Nick Robertson. He's gone. He's gone with Nice. He gets the puck in the zone. Robertson's very underrated at puck protection. It's in the slot. Nyes is trying to outmuscle Erik Karlsson. Doesn't happen. Would Shane Doan be a good replacement for Mark Savard as an assistant power play coach? I don't know. I don't know if Shane Doan has any experience as a coach. They do look like the Predators jersey. This is just a crazy jersey matchup. That's offside. Good idea, don't we? But that's offside. The late offside, though, and it goes back the other way. Here comes Crosby. He drops it to Austin Matthews. I don't think Shane Doan would be a good... I don't know if Shane Doan has any coaching experience. I might be ignorant in that. Oh, McMahon straight to the net. And he runs into Stuart Skinner, but no goal. Puck goes over the net. Whoa, whoa. Crosby trying to get it out in front here. Also, as of note, I don't believe Evgeny Malkin's playing in this game. What's up, Hillary? Hello. Who came up with these... These Penguins jerseys are too yellow, man. Oh, Michelli, good idea. He almost got it over to Nylander in front. He was streaking to the net. That would have been a great idea. Tommy Novak breaking out of the zone for the Penguins, and Riley Shea dumps it in. Penguins have some big boys on the team for a team that's GM'd by Kyle Dubas. Kyle Dube. Oh, put in front by the... They're going to call that a goal? Review that. Review that. No chance that's a goal. No chance, dude. I'll put it up on the board now, but there's no chance that's a goal. Scrum in front of the net. Penguins are all jamming at the puck. It's under Woll, and they shoot his pad into the net along with the puck. That is goalie interference, yo. That has to come back. No chance that's a goal. Oh my god. They called it a goal on the ice. He shoves his pad in the net. Review that. They're challenging that, right? He shoves his pad in the net. Toronto's challenging. I might as well take the goal off the board. That is goalie interference, dude. Wow. Dude, the puck is in his glove and then it's shoved into the net. If this doesn't come back, I would be genuinely shocked. It's in his glove. How do you call that a goal on the ice, actually? That's absurd. Riley Myers again. That's a good one, Blue Sky. It's true. It's true. Although, listen, it's not going to be a goal. This one's coming back. But still, you're right. You're right. You are right. Here's a call. No goal. No goal. I cannot believe that official. I know the game's fast. How do you call that a goal, man? How do you call that a goal on the ice? It's right in front of you and they shoved the whole goalie into the net. Wall's entire body gets shoved into the net. And the puck was in his glove. In his glove. And he gets shoved into the net, dude. Wow. No goal for you. Try again. Shane Doan also owns his own team in the WHL, and Shane Doan coached a WHL team before becoming the special assistant to the Leafs GM. Yeah, it could be an interesting fit. I mean, they're not going to hire anyone else. They're riding this out. But the power play has been abysmal. And I mean, like, Mark Savard is the only guy that's working on it. Like, it's not the other coach's responsibility. So now that they, maybe things will change now that other guys will be working on it. But it's still internal. It's still going to be an internal thing. They're not going to hire outward for it. McMahon out to center. It's a 2-on-2 opportunity here with Lawton. Lawton to the point to Phil Meyer. He's got to shoot this. He does, and it goes to the moon, I guess. I don't know where that went. Okay. It's still in the zone. Here comes Matthews going wide. He passes off to Riley. Riley shoots for the tip to Matthews, and it's out of play. That was a great opportunity there. Great opportunity there. And we're headed to our first commercial break, which brings us to a great opportunity to talk about what happened earlier today. Brad Treliving had a press conference earlier today, I know, and we're going to have a video covering that right after this live stream here on the channel, breaking down everything that happened in that press conference, because there was some interesting tidbits on the future of this team. It was a pretty significant press conference in terms of what the plan is moving forward. Like, nobody really had clarity besides they weren't going to hire another assistant coach yesterday. But here it is from Brad Treliving himself. Nothing's going down, guys. I want to make it clear. I support Craig fully. So that was from Brad Treliving. He's not looking to make a head coaching change anytime soon. And Craig Berube has also gotten a vote of full confidence from MLSE. And we know that, Keith Pelly likes him. His role has increased from just a head coach to, handling more of the, management stuff as well. Like, he's helping with that. He has an increased role, I guess I'll call it, than some other coaches around the league. So he's been fully supported. And again, we're going to have another video breaking this down, but on Marc Savard, those are never fun decisions to make or fun days. I want to make it clear that the decision of yesterday is not putting the blame solely on Marc Savard's feet. That's totally incorrect. But I mean, let's be honest, guys, the power play sucked. So did Marc Savard deserve to be fired? I mean, he was not doing his job effectively with the group of players that he had. So yes, but I don't think this solves any type of problem. And I feel like Brad Treliving is saying somewhat the same thing in terms of that is not going to fix the problem. Now, another interesting thing on Craig Berube, which kind of plays into this initial quote from Brad Treliving from Chris Johnson. He said, "What I can tell you clearly is the Leafs management does not want to make a coaching change. Craig Berube is 18 or 19 months into a 4-year deal with this team. We know what happened with Mike Babcock. So they're not fans of just bringing guys in and then firing them like a year later. So doesn't sound like a change is going to happen in any way like that anytime soon." And Brad Treliving fully supports Craig Berube, and it sounds like MLSE as a whole does as well. But let's get back to the game. The puck is down. Commercial is over. Let me know in the chat what you think about that. That was from earlier today in a kind of random press conference from Brad Treliving for the game today. But again, we're going to have some stuff breaking. There was some other, Elliot Friedman had something to say, which I thought was interesting. And then we have more comments, even more than that, from Brad Treliving himself and Chris Johnson. There's one from Chris Johnson. Stay tuned for the video later, because there's a quote from Chris Johnson, that kind of made me think about things existentially with this team. And tough to hear from an insider. Tough to hear. But anyway, play is back underway here. Nylander is on a half breakaway. He's on a full breakaway now. Scores! William Nylander has scored. There it is. The slump is over. The slump is over. This guy hasn't scored in a month. He hasn't scored in a month. Can you guys believe that? He hasn't scored since November 26th. On the breakaway. Hayes, no disrespect, buddy. You ain't catching this guy. Stuart Skinner. Back of the line, buddy. Back of the line. 1-0 Maple Leafs. Interesting turn of events so far this game. Willie on the breakaway. 1-0 Maple Leafs. Nice. On the board. Shout out Brian. What's going on? He's not even cheering. No, I get to work. Let's score some more goals here. Let's get going. McCabe to center. It's a 2-on-1. That's a tough play to McMahon there. That's a tough one to handle. Domi has the puck here on the far wall. Rink wide. You got to shoot this, Stetcher, man. You got so much room. Deflection play. It's right in front. McMahon's trying to find it, and he couldn't. It's covered by Stuart Skinner. All business. Hey, I like to see Willie when he's all business. Shows up to the rink. He's business. He wants to score some goals. 1-0 Maple Leafs on a goal by William Nylander. Next power play, I tell them to just score a goal, an effing goal, like to keep it PG here on the channel. Yeah, I would agree. I was thinking about that this morning. I'm like, what are they going to tell them today that's different? Try shooting more? like shoot when you're open? Like what are we doing different today, guys? What are we doing different? Nothing's going to look that different tonight, I think, in terms of that. But dude, put the puck on the net. What are we doing? Oh, we got a breakaway for Brian Rust now. Same move and he scores. Same move as Nylander and he scores. That's kind of funny. I'm not happy about it, but that's kind of funny. Brian Rust on a breakaway. Same move, guys. 1-1. That's how quick the game goes. That's how quick the game goes. Yeah, I mean, Tanev was kind of back there, but that is a nice play by Sid Crosby to find Brian Rust. It's not like you couldn't see him with those bright jerseys on. The NHL is also encouraging more teams to do more color-on-color matchups. So instead of like one team wearing white jerseys, they're going to be wearing both their dark jerseys or alternate jerseys, which I love. I absolutely love. So I would encourage that as well. Oh, 2-on-1 for the Leafs here. Nyes and Robertson. Shoot the puck. You had it. Focus too much on the pass. You got a good shot, Robertson. That's your spot, man. Through the triangle. Through the 5-hole. It's your spot. Robertson's been pretty good this season as well. I mean, nobody's been good, but I mean, like, in an increased role, he hasn't looked like completely out of place. He does look pretty good. Behind the back pass from Lawton is a turnover in the neutral zone. Hate that. So, what are the chances the Leafs win this game if Nylander doesn't get another breakaway? Because offense has been hard to come by. McCabe is hurt. He's not down, but he blocked a shot. And oh, no, he's good. He's in on the play again. Whoa! And that is shot out of play. Leafs block it, and it is out of play. We're headed to another commercial here. Commercial break. Yeah, in case you guys missed some stuff, we'll bring this up since the commercial break. Elliot Friedman, we're going to cover this in a video as well, some of this stuff, but stay tuned. I'm saving a couple things for the video because there is some shocking details. But a lot of questions after Mark Savard was fired, and Elliot Friedman's reporting that Craig Berube is not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. Type Y in the chat if you want Craig Berube fired. Type N in the chat if you do not want Craig Berube fired. So if you think Berube is the problem, should be fired. Y if you do not want him fired and you don't think he's the problem and it's on the players. N. Let me hear you in the chat. But a lot of questions after Toronto fired Mark Savard on Monday night. But according to several sources, he's not going anywhere. He's not going to get fired. And there's a lot, Brad Treliving provided Craig Berube with a vote of confidence on November 18th. And again, this afternoon, asked him how long the vote of confidence extends if for Berube if the losses continue to pile up. And, well, I'm not going to get into hypotheticals of what happens with this. And this is from Brad Treliving. But we've got a good coach. We've got to continue to make our team better. We've got areas that we've got to get better in. It's not lost on us where the team's at. We live it every day. But we think we've got a real good coach, and that's not to say we don't change some things, tweak some things, and obviously they did that firing Mark Savard as well. But all of this, like, you can feel free to pause and read the whole quote. I'll leave it up, actually, for the duration of the commercial break. This is garbage to me, guys. Like, I don't think Berube should be fired, but a lot of this stuff, we're going to make some tweaks. This is garbage, man. These guys have been in the NHL for 10 years at this point. You know the deal. It's all mental with this group. I don't want to hear none of this garbage. We fired the power play coach and the guys are going to have so much fire under them now. This is garbage. Garbage, baloney, like whatever. If you're a Leafs fan, you should be mad that they only made that move. But I digress. We're back. We're back from commercial. But I would leave Craig Berube. He should not be fired. I've said it in all the videos we've done. Craig Berube should not be fired. A lot of people think that you should fire the coach. It's going to get to that point at some point, by the way. Like, if they keep losing the way they're losing, it will get to that point. You're going to probably have to fire him. But, and the way that they're losing as well. But ultimately, what is that really going to change with this group, man? What is it going to change? I wouldn't fire him. Matthews shoots in on goal. And Skinner swallows it up. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Let's do a roll call right before Christmas, guys. Holiday break. Everybody's feeling pretty good. Where's everybody watching from? Where is everybody watching from? Are you watching from Toronto? Are you in the States? Are you watching from Alberta? Shout out Newfoundland. Are you watching from Newfoundland? Let me know in the chat. Where is everyone watching this game from today? And also, thank you guys over the last couple of days for allowing us to hit 23,600 subscribers. We're now at 23,619. So thank you everyone for your support. The last couple of years, it's been unbelievable to see this channel grow to the point and the community that has been built up here. So we got Joshua in Mooresburg, Ontario. Caleb is in St. Louis. Shout out St. Louis. Shout out Niagara Falls, Ontario. Josie is watching from Niagara Falls. Puck is played down the ice. Riley behind the Leafs goal. Stops up. Living Spirit is from Brighton, Ontario. Dean, Guelph. Shout out Guelph in the Guelph Storm. Inaki's from Toronto. Right in the heart. How is traffic? Mike, Toronto. I know how traffic is because I'm in Toronto as well. It's awful. You can't go anywhere. What is going on? What is going on in front of this net right now? Shot out of play. We got Florida. Mike's from Toronto. Shout out everybody. Watching from some different places around Ontario. And the States as well. St. Louis and Florida. Where in Florida exactly? Love Orlando. Love Daytona. Puck is back in play. SCB Picks is watching in BC. This is an early one for you, man. This is lunchtime. Nate is in Joe Bowen's hometown, Sudbury. Shout out to the Sudbury Wolves. I hate the Sudbury Wolves. I am Portuguese. Yes, I am Portuguese. Mike? Yes, I am. Jody is from Stevensville, Newfoundland? I know. Am I wrong? Kenneth is from British Columbia as well. Fort Lauderdale is where they're watching from in Florida. Appreciate you watching from Fort Lauderdale. Isn't that Florida Panthers country? I mean, I guess the whole state except for Tampa, but commentators are saying that the arena today, Scotiabank Arena, seems a little louder and more lively because there's more kids in the building. Hey, thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. I hope they win the World Cup too. I hope Canada, does well at the World Cup as well. I am Canadian as well. So I hope they do well. Hope they do well. They have a good team. Good little team there. Scores! Nylander again. At the side of the net. Michelli with the point. Michelli with the point. Actually, this might be Michelli's goal. I think this is Michelli's. Nylander looks so weird, man. He's not celebrating at all. I mean, he's normally like that. Oh, goes off the Pittsburgh guy and in the net. That's Michelli's goal. Matias Michelli is on the board. Yep, goes off of the Pittsburgh Penguins defenseman and in through the 5-hole of Stuart Skinner. That is Matthias Michelli's goal. Let's go. 2-1 Maple Leafs. Get to some more comments in a second, but 2-1. Matthias Michelli. Shots are 9-6 for the Penguins, and we have 6 minutes left here in the first period. Another turnover. Penguins are not playing well today. There's lots of I mean, the Leafs are playing well too. They're making some things happen, whereas they weren't in the past. So, not bad at all. Few faces watching from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. Shout out to Cape Breton. Niagara Falls, Ontario. Is Fort Lauderdale the north part of Florida? I believe it's central Florida. Nylander is angry, and he should be. I totally agree. Play with a chip on your shoulder. Mike, I'm also an FC Porto fan. So let's go. Love that. A lot of everybody I know is either Benfica or like Sporting, or you got like the smaller clubs too, depending on where you're from. But around here, it's mostly like just FC Porto and Benfica. So nice pass to the point from Matthew. Shot, just missed the goal. And I have a lot of Polish friends as well, and I'm sorry you guys did not make this World Cup. They've always been of rooting interest for me as well, because I have a lot of friends that are Polish. So sorry you guys didn't make it, but hopefully you can cheer for Portugal in their absence. We would appreciate that. We need one, man. We need one bad. We need that World Cup. That would complete it. But Josh is Scottish, Irish, and First Nation Canadian. Bill Myers got an assist on that goal. That's Michelli's 5th goal of the season. What did that guy do to be taken out of the lineup? What did he say? Was he playing that bad for that long? Was he really playing that bad? This guy was left out of the lineup for like 3 weeks. Making a huge difference right now. He's been one of their best players the last couple of games. Last 3 games maybe. Generating some chances. He scores again tonight. He's getting the puck to the net. I don't think he's ever... I've been a fan of his, but... JD hopes that the Leafs get smoked. Now, this is my favorite game to play. JD, I bet you're not even a Penguins fan, are you? You're just here to hate on the Leafs. I know you guys. I know you. Also got the Winter Classic coming up in Florida, by the way. Anybody excited for that? Oh, yeah, Fort Lauderdale is South Florida. You're right. I don't know why. Yeah. Panthers play just outside of Miami, I think. (2-1) Leafs. Shots are 9-7 Penguins. Got 4 minutes left here in the first period. Oh, I didn't know Poland... I didn't know they were in the playoff. That's my bad. So they still have a chance of making it. I will be rooting for them. And I mean, in that group, if they have to... I mean, Sweden's not bad. Ukraine's got a decent team. Wouldn't be too worried about Albania. But hopefully you guys make it. I'll be rooting for you. I'd like to see them in the World Cup. From the West, you hope the Leafs never, ever make the playoffs again. I don't know if that's going to happen. Might not be this year. It's not looking good right now. Need to hang on to this lead, please. That's fair. Well, Lorenzo, for this case, I hope you lose your money because I want the Leafs to win. But I hope you place another bet tomorrow and you... Well, I guess there's no games on. I hope you place a bet on Christmas Day and you win. How about that? Fair trade? And I hope it's a bigger payout than this one. Yanaki, we haven't, but I would certainly be open to it. And yeah, I think we'd be open to it, but no, the opportunity has not rose yet. Love those guys. Love those guys over there. I think they do phenomenal work. Oh, Nylander skating tonight. Yeah, I think they do great work, but opportunity hasn't really presented itself, so definitely not opposed to it, but yeah, I love the stuff over there. Oh, that's a bad play to the point to Tavares. Oh boy. 3-on-2 the other way. Move your feet. Here comes Riley the other way. This is a track meet, man. Which is odd. Because the Leafs don't like to play that way. You know, it feels weird. And I was talking to somebody today. God, stomach, hawk, stomach. I was talking to somebody today about it. I still feel like if this group made the playoffs, like the mentality's not there, but things can shift quickly in the NHL. Like, I still think this group of players, like, I don't think it's Treliving. I don't think this group of players is that bad on paper. I don't. Now, that doesn't mean anything. It's a results business. But I actually don't think they're that bad. But you have to get to the final four of the playoffs, and they haven't been able to do that yet. But I don't. There's just something about the group where I'm like, the pieces are all kind of there when you look at a group and what you would want in a group. Like, it's not horrible. Everyone talks about puck-moving defensemen. Maybe they could use one more. But Tanev's an underrated puck mover. Just transporting the puck out of the zone. They just need one more guy, I think, that's better at it. Troy Stetcher's not bad at it. But I think it's a mentality issue with this team. Like, I don't even think it's the team on paper or anything like that. It is. They just don't have killer instinct. They're a reactionary team. Oh, God, I'm going to start ranting again. But they're a reactionary team. They've never been proactive, whether it's in the front office or on the ice. I mean, they're always chasing the game. Even today, they went down 1-0. Yes, it was a coach's challenge, but they're always chasing every single game. They don't bring the game to the other team. They don't come out. And I know we got a couple seconds left here in the first. They don't come out in any game. Oh my God, that was horrible. Big save by Wall. Wow, that was an egregious turnover by... Wow, that was an egregious turnover by Tanev. Holy smokes, what a save by Wall. 10 seconds left here in the first. They don't start any game. I can think of a few teams like Florida, Tampa, and the Avs, let's say. Maybe Dallas to a degree. That open a game and punch you in the mouth immediately. Like, watch any of those teams' games, like the first 10 minutes of their game. Puck drops, and they're looking to punch you. Not physically. I mean, just like on the scoreboard with their play, skating. They punch you in the mouth. It's quick. They'll jab you in the mouth. You're not expecting it. You got your pants down. And you're like, holy hell, what's about to happen? And the Leafs don't have that. They chase every single game. They let the other team establish and set the tone every single game. Every single game. And it's been like that for years. And it's on the group of players. It is. Because the coach can get you prepared for the other team in the game. But you gotta get yourself riled up and ready to play. And this team is lifeless. And it falls on the leadership group as well. It does. That falls on the players to me. I hate the narrative that the coach has to get you prepared or amped up. He does. He'll give you a little speech, but as a player, you gotta be prepared to play that game. Period is over. You gotta be prepared to play that game. So I don't buy into that too much. Oh, we got a scrum here at the end of the period. Who's that? Crosby's in it. Who else is in there? Dakota Joshua. Who's at the bottom of this pile? Tavares is in there. Is it Tavares? Yeah, Tavares is still throwing it with somebody. What started this? Carlson's in there. Crosby's in there. Letang has no bucket. Nah, 2 points is 2 points. I don't care about who you beat. Would you be saying the same thing if the Habs won on any given night? Nope. Oh, McMahon was going after Letang. See, this is more of what you need. He was initiating something. That's what I like to see from Bobby McMahon. Arguably could have been a penalty, but let's get something going. The blood pumping, boys. Let's go. I love it. I love it. I love it. One period down. That's all. What do we think of that first period? That was pretty good. 2-1 Leafs. End of the period there. McMahon roughing Letang up there at the end of the period. That was a good one. No, it won't fix things, but I want 2 points. See, you just contradicted yourself, sir. Appreciate you tuning in, but Habs Absolute Hockey, I'm not celebrating like it'll fix things. I just want 2 points. That's all. I know it won't fix things. That's what I was just talking about for the last 7 minutes. Yeah, I question the leadership group, and I have since 2021 of this team. Because 2 years before that, they took over as the leadership group of this team. Because before it was like the Bozaks, JVR, guys like that. And now it's been these guys for a couple of years, and that's when things really started to look crappy. So that's how that has been going. But got some content for you guys here in the intermission. I'm gonna play some content for you guys here. But Tim, You're right. We don't have a number one defenseman here. We don't. Riley should be moved for a number one defenseman. Outside of that, I think the team is pretty good. If you look at it last year, again, a lot of this, and I think even the problem this year is between these years. So I think the group on the ice, like the roster, the way it's constructed, I think Berube likes certain things with this group. I think Treliving did a good job of like providing him with those things, and the players have to execute within that system. And they were last year. So I think a lot of it is mental this year. It doesn't seem to me like a lot of the guys want to get their hands dirty sometimes. I don't. So Habs, that's crazy. You can't. Puck is in his glove and they push the goalie in the net. Goalie interference. Textbook. I'm surprised the review took that long. Textbook goalie interference. It is your opinion, but the textbook, the rule book doesn't have opinions, right? So that's how that works. That's goalie interference. But the leadership group is interesting. You think I was throwing it out there before we get into some of this content here. Y in the chat if Berube should be fired. N if Berube should not be fired. Should Craig Berube be fired? Y for yes. N for no. Let me know. Spam it in the chat. And I'm going to leave you guys with this, just some content from earlier this morning in terms of what's happening with the Leafs. Nick and I give our thoughts on what is happening and how there won't be a replacement for the assistant coaching position and what this means for the future of this team.
This situation keeps getting crazier as an insider has just dropped a massive report once again surrounding not only the future of Craig Berube, but some rumors are flying surrounding one coach in particular that has fans very split. We'll break that down, as well as multiple other updates following the firing of Marc Savard. You're going to want to stay tuned until the end of this video because there is a ton to go over. And, of course, the Leafs play later this afternoon. But before we get into it all, folks, if you're part of the percentage, you want to subscribe to the channel, very quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. You guys have been absolute beasts with the support there. There's a lot to go over today. And, of course, we're at a point now where changes have already been made. Tonight's going to be, or rather this afternoon's going to be, the Leafs' first game in without Marc Savard this year, of course. But there has been a lot of reports flying. Let's dive into them kind of in order. Now, let's start with the Marc Savard stuff. In case you missed it, feel free to check out our video from yesterday after you watch this one in its entirety. But Marc Savard was relieved of his duties, and Elliot Friedman has come out and said multiple different things. We also have some updates from after the firing, a ton of things. Let's start with the Friedman report. If things don't straighten out, the organization will be forced into existential questions they didn't think they'd have to consider. Now, we covered this in yesterday's video, and this was a report from before the Marc Savard stuff. And then Jonas Siegel recently came out on Leaf Report and said, I would not be surprised if we see a coaching change this week. So this is very interesting, Darius. And of course, they did make a coaching change in Marc Savard. And now it seems that all signs are pointing to Craig Berube, as Chris Johnson has come out and said that the seat is still quite hot after the Leafs road trip and now the firing of Marc Savard. And this seems like a warning shot. So a lot to go over here. What are your thoughts on all this?
Some conflicting reports. We'll get to Pete DeBoer in a second because that's some interesting stuff as well. So stay tuned for that. But some conflicting reports. I mean, people are pissed off. Yesterday after the firing, our video was very reactionary. It just happened. We were giving our thoughts on it. And I was talking about a lot of things just in a vacuum in terms of, they fired the coach and the power play coach, obviously, and the power play was horrible. Makes sense, right? But when you look at it deeper, this was just the first domino to fall in something that the organization could at least go, hey, we did something, right? Are you guys happy now? We'll see what happens. Like, no, that's not the case. Leaf fans are not that dumb. We watch the games, right? Like, I know a lot of other people like to say Leaf fans are dumb, but we watch the games. We know what's going on with the team. We're watching these things, right? We know that this is not actually going to change anything. Firing Craig Berube could possibly change something. I still think it's on the players, like we've all been talking about, right? Like I don't know how you can move forward with this group at this point. I feel like too much mental damage has been done to everybody at this point, but that's a conversation for another time. But Berube is definitely next. I mean, Lalonde just got here, of course. But it's the whole thing with Babcock again. I don't think MLSE wants to move off of their guy, and we know who the CEO is now at this point, and that he likes Berube. And he's just not a couple months. He's like almost 2 years into his contract now. That's a 4-year contract. They don't want to cut ties again or fire somebody and pay them out again like they did with Babcock. We know that is the case. So it's interesting. There's some conflicting reports. Firing a power play coach is not going to do anything for this team. Like for them to come out and beat the Penguins 8-0 tomorrow, it's not going to happen. Or later today, I should say, it's not going to happen. So, again, I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different reports. And again, to kind of go over Chris Johnson's report here, we'll have another video on it because there's a lot of stuff to go over. Management isn't ready to move on from Berube and still believes he can guide the team through this rough patch, but his future depends on turning things around quickly. The losing streak and poor road trip have real consequences. So this is exactly what we were talking about in yesterday morning's video. Like at this point now, Marc Savard is gone. That was I guess it's a good way that Chris Johnson words it. A warning shot's pretty good. But it's good to know now that, and again, you never want to advocate for anyone fired, but it's good to know that they are willing to and able to get rid of some of the guys if that's the direction that they want to go. And this is multiple, you mentioned it, some conflicting reports, some people saying they're not going to be, that Craig Berube isn't on the hot seat, Chris Johnson coming out and saying that he is on the hot seat. But either way, you could see here from Darren Dreger, he got his own 2 cents in, and he said despite the current poor run of play, there's no sense that Berube will be relieved of his duties. And that was from Darren Dreger. Maybe there's a call from above that says change has to happen, but I don't get the sense from this morning that it's happening today. Now, that was yesterday. And I mean, Darren Dreger was wrong because there was change. Now, it wasn't Craig Berube, so if you want to get specific about it, but so many different reports are flying. And it all comes back to Pete DeBoer. Now, and obviously this would rely on, if Pete DeBoer comes in, rather, that would rely on Craig Berube being fired, of course. And there's been some rumblings about Pete DeBoer. We're going to have a full video covering that as well. But Darius, amidst all these conflicting reports, Pete DeBoer's name has popped up as a real option. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Pete DeBoer, I don't think he would change much. Now, that's just my opinion. Again, we're going to have a full video breaking it all down. But at the same time, you can see one of his things here recently. Hockey is a pretty simple game. You can't overcome a lack of compete. And that's a reminder that winning games usually comes down to who wants it more. So amidst all the hot seat talk, the not hot seat talk, Pete DeBoer's name has flied up from Nick Alberga here. And I'm curious to see what you guys think about it in the comment section of Darius. I'm also curious to see if you think he would fix anything. Maybe, though, this is a time where a change of face could work and bring in Pete DeBoer, who has a ton of experience head coaching. I mean, you look here, over a decade, almost 2 decades, which is crazy. It brings in experience, but isn't that just what we did with Craig Berube, and it's almost the same thing?
Yeah, and I think a warning shot, to go back to that, is a good way to, frame the firing of Marc Savard at this point, because it's obviously, if things don't improve, at some point you're going to have to do something, and that's going to be Craig Berube. Now, is it Pete DeBoer that's going to come in and take over? He's a free agent, if you want to call him that right now. He's not coaching. He has a good track record in terms of taking teams. He's one of those coaches like a Peter Laviolette that can take a team that's right there and get them from like a first-round exit to maybe a third-round exit. Now, he obviously hasn't done the thing. He hasn't won a Stanley Cup, but he's been in the mix year after year with different teams, second round, third round, competitive teams, taking them deep into the playoffs. So he can do that. When you look at this group right now, do you think that they are mentally ready to take on that challenge? Like, this is the coach that's going to come in and fix everything? I'm not so sure. Nick, if you can bring up that quote from Pete DeBoer, and keep in mind, Pete DeBoer is coaching or getting ready to coach Team Canada at the Olympics. So I feel like he's sitting pretty right now. I don't know. And David Pagnotta actually came out and said that he's not so sure he wants to take on a head coaching job right now because he's getting ready for the Olympics. But all of that aside, if the opportunity arose, maybe he would take it. But anyway, he's saying that you can't, it's compete. It's a compete thing, right? This is the type of coach, like he's similar to Berube in that way, that you can't beat hard work, right? Like the Leafs don't have that right now. They're losing games because they just don't want it. They've lost games in the playoffs before because they just don't want it. It's a mental thing. They think that they can't win when they just don't put in that hard work. So that's the reason why I feel like DeBoer honestly wouldn't change anything. You're just going to fire Craig Berube. You're going to bring in a guy that is, like-minded in that way, that you have to compete, and it's a simple game. You're playing a simple style, and the team hasn't bought into it. So it's a tricky situation right now. Ultimately, if we want to touch on this stuff now, like I think some trades got to start happening. You got to start thinking about the top players on this team and their roles moving forward. And I'm not just talking about like a few weeks from now, like the future of what this organization looks like. But that is a video for another time as well. But ultimately, I think a warning shot is a good way to put it. I think Berube is definitely next if things continue. If things kind of plateau and they're, kind of mid and they're just like 2 wins, 2 losses, something like that the rest of the way, maybe they just hang on to him. I don't know what the plan is there. I know the organization likes him, right? But at the end of the day, it's not working. Whatever it is, it's just a bad mix right now. It is not working.
Yeah, I mean, again, you look at his record. I mean, Craig Berube, he won that cup. People are calling it a fluke, and then ultimately he's come here. he was one win away from, beating what some people are calling a super team, like one of the best teams we've seen in the last decade, probably the best team in the last decade here, at least as it pertains to back-to-back Stanley Cups and their kind of legacy there. So I don't know. I don't think it would change a whole lot, but let us know down below what you think about it, because at the end of the day here, it's going to be on the Leafs to decide. Who knows if Pete DeBoer is going to be available, but this is the exact same type of rumblings that we heard with Craig Berube when Sheldon Keefe was still at the helm, and then those things ended up coming. There's some breaking news. The Toronto Maple Leafs have just made a massive move, and in what has been an absolutely awful past few games, past few weeks for this Toronto Maple Leafs team, they have made their first move letting go of a coach. To break down exactly who they fired and discuss what this means going forward, as this is the beginning of monumental changes for this team. But before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel and you've been enjoying the daily Leafs content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. You guys have been absolute beasts of support. Darius, we predicted this earlier today that a move was going to happen in some capacity, and it did. Marc Savard, 4 minutes ago, has been relieved of his duty. So assistant coach Marc Savard, guy who was manning the power play, you mentioned in the video earlier today, a man who has led this power play to horrific numbers, like generationally bad numbers. This, to me, screams like the first of many changes to come. But for now, as we approach Christmas, before the mini break here, at least the holiday break, they are going to be without Marc Savard for the rest of the year. Of course, we'll have to see who they either bring in, who they promote, demote, whatever it ends up being. They're going to move some things around. Marc Savard is officially no longer a Toronto Maple Leaf.
Yeah, and I think this is coach, obviously, but we mentioned this morning, and I was talking about it this morning, that this could be the first domino to fall, because I don't think Craig Berube is going anywhere anytime soon, and that was what everyone's saying. Friedman said it, Pagnotta said it, a couple other insiders were saying that. I said that this is probably the most obvious and first domino that could fall. He has led the Leafs, like you said, to their worst power play since 2007. They're at 13% right now. They've scored on 12 power plays and 90 opportunities so far this season. On their road trip that just wrapped up, because they're playing at home tomorrow against the Pittsburgh Penguins before Christmas, they went 0 for 10 on that. And again, like, is that going to fix the problem? Like, if they start scoring on 40% of those, which is still like crazy, like that's not going to happen with any coach. I don't care who comes in. It's not going to happen right away. That's for sure. But let's say they were doing that. Is that really going to win them games? They're losing games like 5-1, 4-0. I mean, it might help, might put a couple more goals on the board. This is something that they definitely have to get going, and it needs to be better, but I don't know if this necessarily fixes everything, right? And it's just one domino at this point. So I think it's a move that had to happen at this point. Listen, Marc Savard took over. He was hired in June of 2024. He took over for last season. This season, the Leafs power play has been worse in that time than it was before. It has been. So something needed to change. I keep bringing up the Edmonton Oilers as well. Yes, they're first place in power play percentage right now. I think they're at like 34% in the league. But I'm not saying you have to be them exactly, but you got to be better. Guess where the Leafs are right now? Last in the entire league, right? So something had to be done in that regard. But I do agree with you. I think there are more changes coming, and stay tuned till the end of the video, because we're going to have more on that as well. Yeah, and obviously he was their assistant coach, but man, the power play primarily, 90 power play opportunities this season, and it was very, very poor. You can see here he took over, like you mentioned, in June 2024, but timing wise, this is coming off of not only fan outrage, but this is coming off of an 0 for 10 stretch over the recent 3-game road trip where nobody has been able to get it going. Covered it in a video this morning again. Feel free to check that one out after you watch this one in its entirety, but it was Matthew Nyes, Austin Matthews, William Nylander, John Tavares. All those guys have slowed down. And a lot of that is in part due to, of course, just having them playing well, laziness, if you want to call it that, whatever it is, lack of structure. Power play being 0 for 10. Power play is where you're supposed to be able to get your feet under you and actually start to get going when you're struggling. It's been the opposite. You can see here, wow, I'm so glad Marc Savard drew up stuff on the whiteboard during the commercial break for that. Power play really helped. They didn't get a shot on goal, and that was literally yesterday night for that game where they lost against the Stars. So it is... I'm happy, actually. And I want to clarify, I never want to see anyone, lose their job or anything like that. But from the Leafs fan point of view, at least this is better than no change. And I truly thought they were just going to ride it out to the rest of the year. Is Berube on the hot seat now? I don't know that for sure. But what I do know is that clearly Brad Treliving and ownership CEO Keith Pelly, they're not afraid to make moves. And this was the easiest one to make. The question now is, if they continue to struggle, will Berube be the next one up? I think the answer is probably yes. It's going to end up that way, yeah, if they can continue to struggle. But they were just doing a little move here to see if things improve, so then they can go to the fan base and say, hey, look, it's a little bit better now, right? Like, ride with us for a little bit longer. And it's also very rare from what I've seen of like a head coach not getting fired with his staff. Usually it's just everybody or just a head coach and they'll keep some of the staff, but just one assistant coach, it's pretty interesting. I think it's just the domino at this point. So we'll see what happens with that. And you bring up a good point as well. I don't want this guy to get fired in terms of like the person, right? Like you never want to see that happen. And by all accounts, like he's a great person behind the scenes, of course, but this is something that had to happen. This power play is not good enough. 0 for 10 on this road trip. They don't look dangerous either. You can look at the numbers and go, oh man, they went 0 for 10. If you watch the games, they look awful. They're one of the worst teams in terms of spending time in the offensive zone on the power play in the league. They have no time in the zone on the power play. They're always chasing the puck down the ice and they can't get into the zone. They can't get a zone entry into the zone. And it was happening last year as well. So what does that point to? Coaching at that point, right? Like whatever they're trying to do, whatever they're trying to establish and get set up, they can't even get set up most nights. Like yesterday was awful to watch again. So the writing was on the wall there, that's for sure. But again, I feel like this is just one move. And the other interesting thing, this is very reactionary. This just happened. I just called you, Nick, right? I was like, Savard got fired. We got to talk about it. This is very reactionary. So we're going to find out more, especially because they play tomorrow in terms of what's happening. I would imagine they're going to bring somebody in, but what does that look like? Do they wait till after Christmas? Are they just going to be like, let's just see what happens now? Maybe they don't hire somebody and just like see what happens. And if the team doesn't respond at all, then yes, okay, now it's Berube. Maybe Mike Van Ryan's going to, like stuff like that. Derek Lalonde just got here, right? And he was fired on Boxing Day last year. So I think this is just one move at this point. There's got to be more coming. And the reaction online on Twitter and Reddit right away. I mean, this came out a couple minutes ago before we started recording. Everybody was on there and everyone's saying it's not good enough still, right? Like that's the reaction at this point. Like everybody needs to go. So it's pretty interesting stuff. And we'll see, if there are any other moves coming at this point. But for them to release, I feel like this is it for now. Berube's going to coach tomorrow. Probably get through Christmas, and then we'll see what happens after that. Because for them to do a whole release with just one person getting fired, I feel like that's it for now.
Yeah, and obviously you can see here the power play percentage this year 13.3. Last year was 24 point, something, whatever it was, 24.4, 24.5. Willison Relander on Twitter said, genuinely surprised Brewery wasn't involved in that announcement as well. Like you mentioned, Darius, it's extremely rare to see an assistant coach let go without a head coach being let go as well. Once again, backward organization. So, I mean, I don't think they could have necessarily. I mean, they could have easily done it, but I don't think that's that backwards for how this. Like, that's exactly how I expected. I think I said in this morning's video, I suspect Mark Savard to be gone first, as that's the easiest, way to go about things here. He's the one who, if you want to find a scapegoat that's not Craig Berube, it was Mark Savard. It's clear.
And we start the second period here, guys. 4-on-4, and we're just 30 seconds into the second period here. We are back for the second. 4-on-4 here. McMahon got a penalty, and I believe Chris Letang also in the box for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Faceoff coming back into the Pittsburgh zone, but we're back for the second period here. 2-1 Leafs. Matthews drove the net pretty hard there on one opportunity to start this period. Career low goals per game for Matthews this season. Oh, Nylander. Oh, man. He had McMahon on the side of the net and he fanned on the pass and the shot. No. Crosby to the point. Penguins are in it. Again, it's 4-on-4 for the next minute here, guys. 4-on-4. Welcome everybody back into the chat, into the watch along for the second period between the Leafs and the Penguins here. Puck back to the point, and it's out. It's back out to center. Penguins are coming back into the zone. Ben Kindle, who is not being loaned to Team Canada, is sticking with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Oh, Novak driving the net. Big save by Wool. Puck is up. Tavares collects it. We got 5 seconds here. 3, 2, 1. We're back to even strength. Both teams regrouping. The Leafs in their own zone. The Leafs are looking pretty good so far. I mean, they're up 2-1. They don't look horrible. I mean, could they look better? Yeah, they don't look horrible. Puck's in front. Oh, it drops for McMahon. It's bouncing to the corner. They don't look horrible. Shots are 13-8 for the Penguins, so they're being outshot again, but don't hate it. They're playing fine. Oh, puck to the point. It's kept in just barely. And then a giveaway by Steven Lorentz. Robert with the $5 donation. Robert, thank you very much for your donation. Got a super chat going for you here with Super Matthew Super Chat. Robert says, good thing I just started watching, though the game started at 7, should pay attention. Oh, you thought the game started at 7, sorry, should pay attention. Does that mean I'm not a Leafs fan? I'm not a Leaf, not paying attention. No, man, you're definitely a fan. I know you've been here for a while. Honestly, I almost forgot that the game was at 4 o'clock today, too. Like, I was thinking about, we set up streams and stuff and what we're going to do for certain games. And I was looking at the schedule, and I'm like, oh, yeah, they got a 4 o'clock game coming up for the Christmas break that they normally do. I completely forgot about that. It's so unusual for the Leafs to not play at 7. It's just so, it's just so unusual. It's weird. Nice save by Will. He plays it. Does not hang on to that. But again, thank you, Robert, for your donation. Really, really appreciate it. You guys make the channel happen. You guys make the channel possible. Don't know how that wasn't a penalty there on the zone entry. Robertson taken down completely. Myers shoot the puck. Oh, and he does. And Stuart Skinner swallows it up. No power plays in this game yet. Can't get a look at the new look Leafs power play. That won't be new look whatsoever. I think this would be a good opportunity for the guys to just do whatever they want today in terms of the power play. No system, just vibe. Just go out there and vibe. And just see what's going on. Puck comes in and is stopped by Skinner again. And we have a face-off to the right of Stuart Skinner in the offensive zone. What do you think should happen if the Leafs not make the playoffs? Yeah, if it gets to that point, I mean, you might have to fire the coach, right? I don't know. I still think internally they don't think that's going to happen. I still think internally they think they're going to make the playoffs. I do. And anything can happen. They just look a bit lifeless at times, I have to be honest. They do not look good most nights. Witherspoon dumps that into the zone. Wall stops it behind the net and right to Rickard Rakell. Ooh, to Crosby. He puts it in front. Nice play by McMahon to one-hand it out of the zone. Power play won't be new look until they get a point threat. Yeah, no, I mean, it's not going to look any different tonight whatsoever. Whatsoever. Matthews 4 for 11 tonight on the draw. Domi trying to win the puck off Letang. He doesn't. Rucker McGroarty with the puck in the corner. Riley takes him out. No, I don't think they're going to trade Matthews, period. There's a difference between what fans want, what I think. Okay, there's a difference between what I would do, what fans want, and what I think they're going to do. I do not think they'll trade Auston Matthews. No. That's what I think they're going to do. I don't think they would. Would I trade Auston Matthews? I think you got to take a hard look at some of the leadership group on this team and think about a hard reset. I think you have to think about it because This leadership group has never been good since they took over the team. Oh, what a save by Skinner. Maccelli, shoot! Oh my God. What a great opportunity. Domi has a great opportunity in front. It goes over to Tavares. Stopped by Skinner. And then Maccelli has it alone in front of, bounce right to him, and he tries to put it 5-hole. Skinner with a huge, huge save. Yeah, I'm not so eager to, big save by Skinner. I'm not too eager to trade Austin Matthews. But I think you have to think about, like, we don't know what happens behind the scenes, but based on what I see, you have to think about switching up the makeup of this team, honestly, at some point. But do I think they'll trade him? No. Do I think it's a good idea? No. Would I do it right now? Probably not. I'm understanding the hype around Maccelli now. He shouldn't have been scratched more than a game. I've been saying it since the summer. I mean, he's had some games where he's just been there. Like, I don't think he's been a difference maker, but are you paying him difference maker money? I don't know. He's made some good plays. He's made some plays. He's skating well. I wouldn't say he's the most physical guy, but the last 3 games he's been in, man, looks fine. Yeah, Matthews looks a little bit better. I noticed in Dallas he had a couple plays where I was like, okay. Like, it looked like he was going to take over a couple plays and then just kind of fizzled out. But, yeah, I think he's looked quicker. I think he's, at times in the last maybe 10 games, he's looked a little bit better. But over the course of a season, he just hasn't looked good this year at all. This has been from Krispy Kreme. This has been their best game since Tampa. That was a good one, too. Yep. Trade Riley, Domi, Robertson, and a goalie. I wouldn't trade a goalie yet. I do think if Riley didn't have... I will say, guys, from everything we've heard, if Riley didn't have a no movement clause, that brother would be long gone. That guy would be long gone. Same with Mitch Marner. I believe that if Mitch Marner didn't have a no... It's not that I believe it. If Mitch Marner didn't have a no movement clause, he would have been traded well before he was to Vegas. And for something of substance. He would have been traded well before if he had no movement clause. The Leafs organization and Brandon Shanahan screwed that up royally. Royally, because you knew the guy did not have it, and you should have traded him well before, but they wanted to see it through, because if they ended up winning, they would have looked great. They would have looked fantastic, but that's all. Yeah, I've been saying since the start of the season, try Maccelli on the first line. They look good in the preseason for the one game that they tried, and then Berube just doesn't like it, so I don't know what that is. Go Leafs go from Chris. And happy holidays, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good one. I would have considered making that number 1 D-man trade for William Nylander years ago. I don't know if I do that now. And now it's hard to move Riley. It's also not Treliving's fault, by the way. The only contract Treliving signed was Nylander's. But, guys, think back to last summer. What was everyone saying? Oh, Treliving's awesome. Look at the contract Nye signed. That's perfect. Great value. Less than we thought. There's no trade clause. Oh, what a shot by Tavares. That's awesome. Look at the other contracts he signed. This is great. He's keeping the AAV down. Right? That was the narrative. And then now, because they're losing, it's Treliving that's put together a bad team? Okay, I guess. If that's what we want to do. I guess. Do you trust Treliving to tear it down, though? That's the one thing where I'm like, maybe the different guy I would trust doing that part. Kyle Dubas is really good at tearing things down. And trying to rebuild them. $12 minutes left here. Shots are 14-12 for the Penguins. 2-1 Maple Leafs. About halfway... Oh, we got a breakaway here for Steven Lorentz. On a breakaway. Oh, what a save. And it's in. Steven Lorentz outweights Stuart Skinner. Stevie's on the board. What a goal. He gets the rebound. Big save by Stuart Skinner on the first one, but bang, bang, bang. There it is. Makes a nice move to the backhand. And he puts in the rebound. on the save. Big Selly gets the crowd fired up. 3-1. 3-1 Maple Leafs. Huge goal for the Leafs. They need this win bad. This is a huge one. Bang. Bang. Huge goal. Carlson messed that up for his entire team. Puck is down. Krispy Kreme saying, Nyes has got to be playing hurt. You rushed them, Matthews and the rest back, and they've had like a couple good games since. Everyone's playing hurt in this league. Are you hurt or are you injured? That is the question. Can't remember who asked that, but are you hurt or are you injured? I can give you an answer depending on which one you give me. Everyone's hurt in this league. Especially with this condensed schedule, man. Look at the Blues. Their entire team's out with injuries. It's crazy. Robert with another. Okay, forget about this. I'm sorry. Robert. Another super chat. Not that I think it'll happen. But if Chief gets fired, do you think Pete DeBoer would even consider the job because of the Olympics? That's a great question, Robert. And here's why I don't think Pete DeBoer will take the job, first of all, and why I don't think he's the right coach for this Leafs group as they currently sit. Pete DeBoer, like Craig Berube, like Peter Laviolette, is a coach that takes a team that is primed and ready to go over the top, to get over the hump, and takes them there. If they can't get out of the first round, he's the type of coach that can get you to the second, get you to the third round. He's that type of coach. Phil Myers' stick just exploded in a huge play by OEL to break that up. He's that coach that's going to take you over the top. Do you think this Leafs team needs a coach like that right now? It's kind of the same thing as Berube, first of all. Maybe it's a different voice. I guess he could help in that way. But the mentality isn't there. So I don't know if that's the guy that's going to help you right now. So that's the first reason why I think that maybe he's not the best fit. In terms of the coach himself, if they offered him the job tomorrow, which I don't think they will because Berube's job is safe for the foreseeable future, and we know that from multiple different accounts at this point. We'll have a video on that on the channel right after the stream. But by all accounts, he's going to be an assistant coach with Team Canada. So why not? Why would you take this job if you're him right now at this time? You're focused on Team Canada. He's sitting pretty. He's still being paid by Dallas because they fired him. Why would you ever take this job if you were Pete DeBoer? So that's just why I think it probably won't happen. But anything can happen, right? And if he wants to take the challenge, he takes the challenge, and that's all. But that's why I don't think it'll happen. But thank you again for your donation and your question, Robert. That was actually a very good question because a lot of people are kind of asking the same thing right now. You know, Pete DeBoer is kind of the guy. Why not just get it done, right? But that's why. So there you go. Tim, I've wrestled with this all week. If the players aren't bought into the system, then maybe it is time to move off the coach. But Tim says the only reason to fire Berube is if the players have quit on him. If that happens, LeLong coaches them to tank and keep the draft pick from Boston. But if the team has quit on him, that is a player issue at this point. These guys have been around for a long time, and they won the division last year with the same coach. So I wouldn't fire him, man. I wouldn't fire him. They're also not execute. If they were executing the system and the system sucked, then I'd be like, okay, fire the coach. They're not executing the system. Some nights they kind of do. But based on what Berube said and how they want to play, they're not playing that way. So, I don't know. So the Pens goal, the first one that was disallowed, the guy pushed the goalie, Joseph Woll, into the net while he had the puck. This last goal, Steven Lorentz pushed the puck into the net on a rebound. So that counts as a goal. Not necessarily the same thing. You can't push a goalie into the net, but you can slam the rebound into the net if it's sitting in the crease. I could check another replay, but I do not think that they were the same plays. Or maybe the Penguins should have just challenged them. Maybe they should fire their coach. Yeah, I think a big trade's coming this summer anyway. I think it's definitely a big trade. But I don't know what exactly that is. I think it includes Morgan Riley at this point, but we'll see what happens with that. We'll see if Morgan Riley's on the way out. What's up, Viral Ranks? How you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're gearing up for the holiday season. Some people are already off work. Prophet, you have been a Michelli truther. You are, I love that term, by the way, truther. I've been on the Michelli bandwagon. People were trying to make me look stupid. We're at commercial, by the way. Trying to make me look stupid because he's scratched. When this guy plays, he makes a difference. I'm just saying. All season. And people were like, why did we give up Fraser Minton? There was a point this season where he wasn't even playing, and Michelli had more points than Fraser Minton. Just because Fraser Minton scored a goal against the Leafs. That's why. He needs to get into games. I've been saying it since the summer. If this guy played regularly and in the top 6 of the Leafs, he would put up 50 to 60 points. Easily. But he's not even going to get a chance to do that now because he hasn't played already majority of the season. Because remember, there's no games in February. So he's got to stay in the lineup. He's actually been generating. I've been a big fan of Michelli the whole time. I think he should get into the lineup more often. He's actually generating the last 3 games. He has been. He scored tonight. So you would have to attach assets to trade Riley. I think there's a team that would want Morgan Riley. I do believe that. But it would be a bigger trade. You're right. I don't know if you have to attach assets to it. But I think that if that were to be a trade, they would be what's it called? A bigger trade. That's my point. Thank you, Viral Ranks. I appreciate that. I know Fraser Minton was traded for Carlo. I'm bringing up the point that earlier this season, people were saying, why did we trade Fraser Minton? Michelli's doing nothing. And I was bringing up the point that based on that argument, if you looked at the stat lines, Michelli has more points and he's not even playing. Or did have more points. Oh, nice chance by Robertson right at the side of the net. Penguins have also been... Jets have not been good. They were missing their goalie for a month there in Hellebuck. So that could be, that could contribute to why. Penguins have been very surprising this year. They're way better than I thought they would be. But I think it has to do with the leadership group and the top guys willing this team to win. Teaching the young guys the way. And they're playing really good hockey. I mean, it starts at the top, right? Like, oh, who scored that? What a shot. That's a tough one. I don't think Wall saw that one. 3-2 here. That was Wall did not see that one. Pens have regressed to what they were supposed to be. Yeah, I mean, actually, I think the last couple of years they've been worse than they are on paper. Yeah, Wall just didn't see that. Kindle got absolutely smoked on that. Holy smokes. Penguins are a lot better than I thought. And credit to them. But I think it has a lot to do with their top guys. I do. Because they're playing some good hockey. Crosby's playing great. Malkin's having a much better season. Off the post. Wow. Okay, so this game's going to change quickly. Shots are even now, by the way. 16-16. Oh, you got to get your feet moving, guys. Oh, that's... Yeah. Okay, so I didn't understand what you're saying over the last 10 games. I don't think they're supposed to... I think they're supposed to be good. Like, I mean... Not real... Oh, boy. Well, that should certainly be a penalty. Shoot! Oh, big save by Skinner. Swallowed up by Stuart Skinner. Yeah, last 10 games they haven't been that good. But I think they should be better than they have been the last couple of years anyway. And obviously haven't made the playoffs and stuff like that, but they do still have the top end talent, even though they're older. I mean, look what Malkin's done so far this year. He's looked good. Like Crosby is going to continue to be Crosby. Raquel had a career year last year. Brian Rust had a good year last year. I think you upgraded. I have to be honest. I think you upgraded in the goaltending position, and for cheaper. Of course, he needs a contract in Stuart Skinner, but I do believe you upgraded. And that was not a penalty on McMahon. Should have been a penalty, I think. Penguins are not supposed to be a dominant team, but they're supposed to be better than they were the last 2 years. Whoa. I think they have like some younger talent actually being able to come up and make a difference now. That's the difference maker this season. Like Kendall's made a big difference. But that's just what I see. Oh, Myers juking. Oh, it's in front. Oh boy. Why doesn't he skate like this all the time? Look at this. Big hit. Big hit by Phil Myers. Now the Leafs are sleeping in the defensive zone again. Comes Mantha speeding in. He's a big body. He shoots. Oh boy. Shelly has it here. Leafs got to get skating again. Not a bad game for that. That is a terrible floater through the middle of the ice. That's horrible. Not a bad start to this game, but they're not skating at all right now, and they're getting pinned in their own zone, which they've done so many times in the second periods. Not just this season, but the end of last season too. No, if the Leafs could be up. Whoa. That was a nice little play. If the Penguins won this game 5-0, I still don't think Berube gets fired. Just based on what was said this morning, I have to be honest. Not my thoughts. Not my thoughts. Just what I think would happen. I don't think they would fire him. Is my thoughts. Not what I would do is what I'm saying. That is my thoughts. Not what I would do. Penguins are dominating the last couple minutes here. Hungry on pucks. They're turning pucks over. They're getting pucks to net. Here comes Lorentz. He's speeding out. He gets it out of the zone. The Leafs have also been terrible in overtime, so I'd rather not. McGroarty shoots off the wing on a half breakaway. Or a rush. And he is stopped by Joseph Woll. Great little play there by Joseph Woll, and we are headed to commercial break. What's the final score of this game? Let's get some predictions going. Where's everybody watching from? Let's get a roll call going here. Where's everyone watching this game from? Are you from the States? Are you from Alberta? Are you from BC? Are you from Toronto? Could be from Newfoundland, far and wide. Anybody excited for the Winter Classic this year, too? I've barely seen any promotion for it. Rangers and Panthers. January 2nd this year for some reason, and it's not an afternoon game. I feel like the Winter Classic has lost a little bit of its aura. Should be New Year's Day, 1 p.m. That's just how I feel about it. It's lost a bit of its aura. Prophet saying, I feel like Michelli is like a Nylander light, and that just happens to he just happens to enjoy passing a lot more. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, no. Michelli has great vision. I think Domi, I was trying to explain this earlier in the year. Domi is a good playmaker in terms of like skill. Like he can pass. Michelli has good vision. Like you can see that he sees the ice very well. He'll find a guy that's like trailing, and you're like, oh, I didn't even see that guy. Like he has good vision. He's a good player, good playmaker, but I just feel like he should shoot a little bit more and play with a little bit more confidence. Like if he did that, he'd be fine. He's a good player. I think he's a good player, but hasn't really gotten an opportunity. Has been a little bit vanilla at times this year, and obviously last year wasn't that good. But he's put up like 50, 60 points in the past with Arizona, so I think he could do it again if he was playing more consistent. What happened to Patrick Laine? He had surgery. An abdominal thing. So, Habs Absolutely Hockey is in Canada. People are predicting 6-2 Leafs. 5-3 Leafs. King is watching from Mississauga. Gene is from Winnipeg. Shout out to Mississauga and Winnipeg. Newfoundland. We do have a Newfoundlander here. Death Eater. Shout out to Newfoundland. Shout out to St. John's. Oh, I've seen that video, Prophet. I've seen that video. I got very excited. I was using that video as an example earlier this year when they acquired him. I was like, look at these passes. Look at this guy's vision. I was very excited. I think it was making the rounds around Twitter early on too. We're back from commercial here. Panda is watching from Quebec. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been translated. Toronto must always win and there will be no questions. Yeah, well, that's true. I wish they were winning because now we have all this weird turmoil before Christmas. I hate this. We're talking about a coach, an assistant coach, and only an assistant coach being fired 2 days before Christmas. I don't want to talk about this. Do you see the Avs morning skate this morning? Their coach, Bednar, they've lost twice all year, by the way, and Coach Bednar was like, he was basically saying which player on the team would be a different Christmas cartoon character. That's what they were talking about at morning skate. And we're talking about coaches getting fired and the Leafs suck and they should sell everyone. I don't want to be talking about this stuff. Tim is watching from Vancouver. Jacksonville, Florida. Steel Pen Pirate. Mike says it's going to be 5-4 Leafs. I do feel like there are a couple more goals left in this game. I don't like how the Penguins are dominating this, though, the last little while. Tombstones is watching from Quebec. 6-3 Leafs, says Viral. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Paul. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you're doing well, sir. Windsor. Shout out Spitfires. They're pretty good this year, right? I think first place club. I think. Last I noticed. They got Ethan Beltrez over there. Windsor Spitfires should be a top 5 pick, I think, this year. Just based on what I've seen. Big boy, 6'5". Should be a right shot scoring center. Should be a top 5 pick, I would think. Yep, that's exactly what firing the power play coach is because it's really not that big of a move. And ironically, we haven't seen a power play tonight yet. So, and I don't think we will, the way this game is going. I'm not going to see one. Doing them a favor, probably. I would decline the penalty, man. They should make it like the NFL. Can we just, not? Can we just continue playing, maybe? Or rain check? Can we check this in later? Maybe, later in the season if we figure it out, you know? Hey, I'd like to cash in a penalty. Something like that. Profit, that's, I would love to do one, honestly. I'm not going to rule that out. I would love to do one. I don't want to say I will do Friday for sure. But, yeah, I would absolutely love to do one. I think I might actually get that going. I love juniors, man. I love watching the World Juniors. I love the OHL. Covered the OHL, worked in the OHL. I love all that stuff. So, absolutely, 100%. Try and get one of those going. James watching from Sarnia, Ontario. Yeah, brutal Merry Christmas, Mark Savard. That's bad timing. The power play's been bad for a long time, man. Oh, good stick by OEL. Let's get going here, Captain. Through the neutral zone here. Checking in from Liverpool, England. Played Junior A in Mississauga many years ago. What team did you play for? The junior ranks have changed. Junior A, Junior B has changed so much. Especially the last couple of years. They renamed the OJHL. O'Reilly from the point. That's in the corner. Dakota Joshua on it. 1:25 left here in the first period. Thank you, Paul. Super chat donation from Paul Taylor, who's been around for many years at this point. Hope you're, first of all, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you too, Paul. I hope you're doing well, sir. And thank you for tuning in. Your support has always been great and does not go unnoticed. But yes, to your question, you're on vacation for 2 weeks. The Leafs sometimes suck and sometimes don't. Don't let it get you down. Most of us will still be fans. I agree. And I try not to let it affect me day to day. It's just frustrating sometimes. You know how it goes. It is just frustrating sometimes. But what we got going on here? Streets illegal derbies. G League affiliate. I think those are two separate comments for two separate conversations going on, maybe. Hey, Canucks Digest. What's up, Mark Pie? Way out from the point. That bounces up. I have no idea where it is. Willie finds it in the corner. Merry Christmas to you too, Mark Pie. I hope you're having a great Tibbs Eve. Did I do that right? I hope I did that right. Or, as, you know, everyone else calls it, Festivus. Shout out to you. And unfortunately, I think you're having a worse season than I am watching the Leafs. Wow, the puck is on top of the net. That was close. But, yeah, you're having a worse season than me. That is the end of the second period. Go, Leafs, go from JC. Canucks Digest. I hope both teams lose this game somehow. It bounced on top of the net and down, and the Leafs get out of this period with a 1-goal lead. What's more concerning, the Leafs or the Jets? I would contribute the Jets losing ways to missing their starting goaltender for a month, but even then, if you drop that far in the standings because of that, you probably have other problems. So I still think the Leafs is definitely more concerning, but the Jets, if I was a Jets fan, I would also be concerned that if my starting goaltender went down, this team would absolutely collapse. Gene, what do you think the score is going to be? Hindsight being 2020, the Leafs should have moved on from Nylander before his new contract. Maybe one of the laziest players in hockey history. I don't know. He is what he is. I mean, everybody said the same thing about Phil Kessel, and he was run out of town because they wanted him to be a shutdown center. And you just got to build around guys like that. So I think he's a good piece on a team. Look at Marty Necas. He's kind of the same player. And he just got like the exact same contract. So, yeah, I think I'm fine with Nylander. I know what he is at this point. I know there's games that he's going to float, and there's games that he's going to lock in and score goals. But at the end of the day, out of everyone on the team, maybe only Morgan Riley will rival him in playoff success. He shows up when it matters, man. So I'm okay with him. I've made peace with this is who he is. And it's frustrating some nights, but this is who he is. He's unbelievable some nights. He'll get your 2 goals. He's electric offensively. There's some nights you want to pull your hair out watching him, but in the playoffs he shows up, and that's who he is. And I'm fine with it. I've personally made peace with it. So I'm glad that they didn't move off of him. I think that he's grown as a player. Like he's way better than he was a couple of years ago. He had a career year again last year. So I made peace with the fact that he is what he is. But you have to build a team around a guy like that. Like McKinnon is there for the Avs, and then they have Necas on the wing. They have other pieces there to fill out that team. So that's just the way I look at it. But I can understand why people want a team full of guys that like are Wendell Clarks. And I think that would be cool too. But that's just the way it is. And I don't know if you can give him up for like nothing or sell low on him and stuff like that. So yeah, Paul, exactly. He performs in the playoffs. His defense sucks. He coasts some nights. That's just who he is. And I've come to just understand it, I think. Leafs are more concerning from profit, but the Jets are in more trouble. They're pretty much forced into a wild card spot now. Yeah, the Jets are, if they're going to make the playoffs, it's a wild card spot because the top 3 teams in the league are the top 3 teams in the Central Division. It is insanely tight at the top there. But I'm going to take a quick break here, guys. And I will be back in a few minutes for the third period. There's a lot going on with the Toronto Maple Leafs as of late. Lots going on, and Leaf fans have had enough about one thing in particular. I'm going to bring you into some of our thoughts, Nick and I's thoughts on what that thing is, what fans have been talking about, and right after that, the truth behind what's happening with, everything, the coaching. Are they going to move off of another coach? All of that, the truth. I'll be right back in a few minutes.
Toronto Maple Leafs have officially hit rock bottom, and fans have had enough in what has been an absolutely disastrous last 48, 72 hours for this team. Fans have only had enough of Craig Berube, had enough with the players. Following yet another brutal loss, this team is officially at rock bottom. I'm going to break that down and much more on this episode, folks. And before we get into it, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Obviously, the Leafs are struggling, but if you guys are still enjoying the daily content, it would mean the world to us if you hit that subscribe button. You guys have been beast. Darius, brutal. And yesterday night, obviously, they lost the game, but this video isn't necessarily about that loss only. It is about the culmination of things. If you've been following our videos for the past few days, past few weeks, we've kind of been discussing this. I mean, it was brutal. And they being the Leafs against the 32nd place Predators after coming off of a 4-0 shutout loss in the game that we both obviously talked about against the Capitals 48 hours prior. They come out and they get destroyed at every single facet of the game. You can see from Joseph Zeta, we're done here. Done. So Darius, rock bottom. Had enough is an understatement. Out of control, like we titled our video yesterday, how we all feel. I mean, changes. We're going to have a video probably tomorrow or later today on, reports that have slowly started to flood out. But who goes first? That's really the question at this point. I don't know if Craig Berube is necessarily, the problem. I'm sure he's part of the problem. He definitely is a problem. But lost for words at this point.
There's many problems at this point, and there's a lot to get to here, right? First of all, I've taken down my jerseys. I'm in protest now. Until they win a game, they're not going back up on the wall. I'm not. Listen, I'm a Leafs fan until I die at this point, but I'm in protest right now. This is awful. And one other thing I can appreciate, Nick, is that everyone is. It is so bad right now that everyone is so divided. You have people going at each other on Twitter, in the media, on the radio, whatever it is. No, it's Berube's fault. No, it's definitely Brad Treliving's fault. No, it's the captain. It's the players, right? Everyone is at each other's throats. And people who are not Leaf fans are blaming Leaf fans, right? Yeah. So it's so bad right now that it's just funny to watch, right? But when it comes down to it, I mean, you just lost to the worst team in the league in a game that, coming off the Washington game, you're like, there are so many things you need to fix here, and we can see, and they're glaring. You have to come into this game with urgency. And I want to bring it back to when Berube was hired. Somebody asked him what a Craig Berube team plays like, right? And he said, it's not so much structure. And we knew coming in, he's not an X's and O's guy. Like, he's not a Keefe that has all these structural things going on. His system only works if you compete. And he said that when he was hired. These guys are not competing. They're not playing hard. And you can see it. It's not happening right on the ice. And they got absolutely destroyed in every single metric against the worst team in the league in a game where you knew they had to come out firing. And they kind of did. I mean, not firing. They scored the first goal, and it was a nice tip by Nicolas Watt. But besides that, they got absolutely shelled in every other single metric by the worst placed team in the league. It is a disaster. They play again tonight. I do not think a firing is imminent before Christmas. I don't. And they have another game coming up on Tuesday, ironically, against Kyle Dubas's team. Things are just continuing to snowball and to get worse. And I have to be honest, it's like the Spider-Man meme. Everyone is pointing at each other. I have no idea how they get out of this at this point.
Yeah, and if you, while you were speaking, Darius, you guys read the screenshot. There wasn't a single redeeming quality outside of maybe scoring 3 goals. But again, you cannot lose to this team. They got walked. They got dog walked really in that game. Wasn't even close after the start. But we will dive into a few different things. Now, Chris Johnson after, and it's very, not rare necessarily, but when reporters start kind of pointing out that they got caved in again, things like that, things are bad. And there's been some bright spots in this team. And there hasn't been many of them, but Bobby McMahon. It's at a point now where in this season, especially over the last 12 or so games where the Leafs have been struggling mightily, 8 points, and that's more than any other, the production at least, has more production than any other Leaf except Matthews over the last 12 games. Nicolas Watt is tied for third with Nylander and Nyes with 7 points. This team is not scoring. Their elite players aren't being elite. You have, of course, Matthew Nyes only having 3 goals over his over his last 21 games, in which he was great in the first, I guess, half of this half, if you want to call it that. It's sad because we started this season with, I think, optimism, or at least we get to see some fresh hockey. And now it's at a point where we're definitely seeing a different brand of hockey. But many Leafs fans, many of us Leafs fans, depending on how long you've been a fan for, this is the first time in a very long time that we're seeing really, really major struggles in the regular season, to the point where people are not necessarily pointing for firings. That happened with Sheldon Keefe all the time, but consistent struggles with no light at the end of the tunnel here. Because in the past, you always knew you had Matthews and Marner. Now, obviously, Marner's gone, but you don't even have Matthews to to look forward to every game. So it's bad.
Yeah, and I said at the start of the season, in the preseason, heading into the regular season, that these guys, to me at least, seem more likable this year. That's out of the window for me. It's the complete opposite again. And, besides all the stuff we've already mentioned, their power play is one of the worst in the league. It's bottom 5, right? I mean, it keeps fluctuating, but it's bottom 5 all year. Look at Brad Treliving in the box. And the other thing I wanted to mention, I'm glad you brought this up on screen. Brad Treliving, I feel like, doesn't always travel with the team, and I thought it was a little odd that they were showing him consistently and that he was at the game there in Nashville. That, I think, is maybe new. I do think he does travel to certain, away games and games on the road, but I thought the timing of this and the fact that he was there, maybe saying something in the room, I don't know exactly. I'm just speculating on that. I thought it was a little odd when I first saw him on the screen that he was there live at the game. So pretty interesting stuff. I have to be honest. I don't know where they go. Maybe we could talk about that now. I don't know where this team goes at this point, Nick. And I mean, a lot of people are asking this exact question. Where exactly do you go? Because so many people are blaming different aspects of the team. I don't know if you can fire Berube, because honestly, he's trying to run a system that the players are not executing on. Now, the other side of things, you can't airlift, like Brad Treliving likes to say, the entire 25-man roster or whatever it is, how many guys you're carrying right now, out and bringing new players in right now. It doesn't work like that. So maybe you do have to look at firing the coach. The system's not working because they're not executing on the system. But then you go to another coach and maybe it does work, but are you going to find success in the playoffs? Because the game is a very simple game. The Panthers play a dump and chase style of game, right? To win the Stanley Cup, it's a little bit different. There's some tweaks in their forecheck, that's a little bit different. But what do you do with the Leafs? Is it the GM now? What's firing the GM in the middle of the season going to do, right? I worry about some of that stuff. Do you make a trade? I feel like they could start selling off some UFAs maybe. I mean, that might be the direction you want to start going in. You're last, or potentially last, in the next couple of days in the Eastern Conference. So you gotta do something, I think, but I just don't know exactly what it is, and if anything's gonna fix this team right away. You might be headed for a hard reset with this group.
Yeah, and let's dive into some of the comments from after the game. Let's start with Craig Berube. He said that late goal we gave up in the second period was avoidable. Third goal is avoidable. Yeah, it is. It's mental for sure. And he talks about getting through it and getting over it. And then Austin Matthews. Okay, also a quick shout out. Mason Marchman. He was traded. So we were right in the trade rumors. It just wasn't to Toronto, but veering back started where we were talking about. What we were talking about, rather. Austin Matthews. I think mentally we're fine. I thought tonight, as bad as it is losing, I thought the process was better. I thought we had a good energy. I don't even want to read the rest of this, to be honest with you. It's him just saying their energy was good. There wasn't a single redeeming quality if you watch that game. You have to beat the Nashville Predators. Anytime you lose against the Nashville Predators, you have to hold yourself accountable. If you're going, 10-1 in your last 11 and your 12th game is a Nashville game, you lose 5-3, it's fine, right? But when you're losing as bad as you are, I mean, no matter what you look at, whether it's Austin Matthews, whether it's Matthew Nye, you can see Bissonnette here, excuse the language there at the end, but he's really upset. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words now. Maybe they'll win tonight and we'll feel better about it. But for now, got to just move on. And this is going to be one of the more interesting deadlines in recent memory for this team, because I hope they don't just stand pat and pray. They either need to make adjustments to buy, or maybe we'll be talking about a selling situation.
Yeah, they got to make adjustments in that way. They got to make adjustments on the ice, that's for sure. And if you can bring up that quote one last time, because there's something in there that really threw me off, because they're starting to just repeat the same things over and over and over again at this point. They keep saying the same things. And the one thing that he said here is, I do believe, the process. I believe you got to do a lot of the same things. You got to bring consistency to your game. And that's what Berube's talking about. You have to keep doing the same things. The Panthers do that. If you keep wanting to look at teams that have done it, the Panthers do that consistently. They take out the other team's D consistently and wear them down by the end of a playoff series. So I do believe in some of the stuff that he's saying. But what are any redeeming qualities out of this game? Like, what kind of a quote is that from your captain after a game like that, where you've been struggling the whole time, the last little while? You lay an egg, a couple nights ago, and then tonight you lose to the worst placed team with zero. It's not like you outplayed them and happened to lose. You got outplayed in every single facet of the game and lost, right? Like, that's horrible. So I don't understand that quote from the captain.
Yeah. Let us know what your thoughts are. disaster. It's disastrous at this point. But regardless, we'll keep you up to date every step of the way. The daily videos won't stop, so make sure to hit the subscribe button and let us know what your thoughts are. This situation keeps getting crazier as an insider has just dropped a massive report once again surrounding not only the future of Craig Berube, but some rumors are flying surrounding one coach in particular that has fans very split. We'll break that down, as well as multiple other updates following the firing of Marc Savard. You're going to want to stay tuned until the end of this video because there is a ton to go over. And of course, the Leafs play later this afternoon. But before we get into it all, folks, if you're part of the percentage, you want to subscribe to the channel, very quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. You guys have been an absolute beast with the support there. There's a lot to go over today. And of course, we're at a point now where changes have already been made. Tonight's going to be, or rather this afternoon's going to be, the Leafs' first game in without Marc Savard this year, of course. But there has been a lot of reports flying. Let's dive into them kind of in order. Now, let's start with the Marc Savard stuff. In case you missed it, feel free to check out our video from yesterday after you watch this one in its entirety. But Marc Savard was relieved of his duties, and Elliot Friedman has come out and said multiple different things. We also have some updates from after the firing, ton of things. Let's start with the Friedman report. Things don't straighten out. The organization will be forced into existential questions they didn't think they'd have to consider. Now, we covered this in yesterday's video, and this was a report from before the Marc Savard stuff. And then Jonas Siegel recently came out on Leaf Report and said, I would not be surprised if we see a coaching change this week. So this is very interesting, Darius. And of course, they did make a coaching change in Marc Savard. And now it seems that all signs are pointing to Craig Berube, as Chris Johnson has come out and said that the seat is still quite hot after the Leafs road trip and now the firing of Marc Savard. And this seems like a warning shot. So a lot to go over here. What are your thoughts on all this?
Some conflicting reports. We'll get to Pete DeBoer in a second because that's some interesting stuff as well. So stay tuned for that. But some conflicting reports. I mean, people are pissed off. Yesterday after the firing, our video was very reactionary. It just happened. We were giving our thoughts on it. And I was talking about a lot of things just in a vacuum in terms of, they fired the coach and the power play coach, obviously, and the power play was horrible. Makes sense, right? But when you look at it deeper, this was just the first domino to fall in something that the organization could at least go, hey, we did something, right? Are you guys happy now? We'll see what happens. Like, no, that's not the case. Leaf fans are not that dumb. We watch the games, right? Like, I know a lot of other people like to say Leaf fans are dumb, but we watch the games. We know what's going on with the team. We're watching these things, right? We know that this is not actually going to change anything. Firing Craig Berube could possibly change something. I still think it's on the players, like we've all been talking about, right? Like I don't know how you can move forward with this group at this point. I feel like too much mental damage has been done to everybody at this point, but that's a conversation for another time. But Berube is definitely next. I mean, Lalonde just got here, of course. But it's the whole thing with Babcock again. I don't think MLSE wants to move off of their guy, and we know who the CEO is now at this point, and that he likes Berube. And he's just not a couple months. He's like almost 2 years into his contract now. That's a 4-year contract. They don't want to cut ties again or fire somebody and pay them out again like they did with Babcock. We know that is the case. So it's interesting. There's some conflicting reports. Firing a power play coach is not going to do anything for this team. Like for them to come out and beat the Penguins 8-0 tomorrow, it's not going to happen. Or later today, I should say, it's not going to happen. So again, I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of different reports. And again, to kind of go over Chris Johnson's report here, we'll have another video on it because there's a lot of stuff to go over. Management isn't ready to move on from Berube and still believes he can guide the team through this rough patch, but his future depends on turning things around quickly. The losing streak and poor road trip have real consequences. So this is exactly what we were talking about in yesterday morning's video. Like at this point now, Marc Savard is gone. That was I guess it's a good way that Chris Johnson words it. A warning shot's pretty good. But it's good to know now that, and again, you never want to advocate for anyone fired, but it's good to know that they are willing to and able to get rid of some of the guys if that's the direction that they want to go. And this is multiple, you mentioned it, some conflicting reports, some people saying they're not going to be, that Craig Berube isn't on the hot seat, Chris Johnson coming out and saying that he is on the hot seat. But either way, you can see here from Darren Dreger, he got his own 2 cents in, and he said, despite the current poor run of play, there's no sense that Berube will be relieved of his duties. And that was from Darren Dreger. Maybe there's a call from above that says change has to happen, but I don't get the sense from this morning that it's happening today. Now, that was yesterday. And I mean, Darren Dreger was wrong because there was change. Now, it wasn't Craig Berube, so if you want to get specific about it, but so many different reports are flying. And it all comes back to Pete DeBoer. Now, and obviously this would rely on, if Pete DeBoer comes in, rather, that would rely on Craig Berube being fired, of course. And there's been some rumblings about Pete DeBoer. We're going to have a full video covering that as well. But Darius, amidst all these conflicting reports, Pete DeBoer's name has popped up as a real option. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Pete DeBoer, I don't think he would change much. Now, that's just my opinion. Again, we're going to have a full video breaking it all down. But at the same time, you can see one of his things here recently. Hockey is a pretty simple game. You can't overcome a lack of compete. And that's a reminder that winning games usually comes down to who wants it more. So amidst all the hot seat talk, the not hot seat talk, Pete DeBoer's name has flied up from Nick Alberga here. And I'm curious to see what you guys think about it in the comment section of Darius. I'm also curious to see if you think he would fix anything. Maybe, though, this is a time where a change of face could work and bring in Pete DeBoer, who has a ton of experience head coaching. You look here, over a decade, almost 2 decades, which is crazy. It brings in experience, but isn't that just what we did with Craig Berube? And it's almost the same.
All right, we're back for the third period. What'd I miss? Big save by Joseph Woll. What'd I miss? What were we talking about in the intermission here? Evander Kane. Oh my God, what happened? We are not talking about Evander Kane. No chance, Canucks. No chance, Mark. Not a chance. No world that is happening, sir. Penguins are still controlling play in the offensive zone. Leafs got to get going here, man. Oh, tie game. Not good. Not good. Well, we're tied, boys. We're tied. What a great opportunity to score a goal here and win the game still, right? At least you're tied. That's a tough goal to let up, guys. That is a tough one. You got traffic in front. You got Justin Brazeau in front. It's a slap shot from the point. From Mantha? Yep, Anthony Mantha from the point. This is, they're going to have to squeeze this one out, man. This is a tough one. Puck is down. Here we go. Eleventh goal of the season for Anthony Mantha. That's a tough one to give up. Lon cycling around to Lorentz. Fourth line out there after a goal against. Typical of any NHL team. David says, there's still hope for the Leafs if Keith Pelly of MLSE fires Treliving in favor of a more competent replacement. And just like that, it's a tie game at Scotiabank Arena. That's funny. If we do fire Treliving, who's the replacement? I would have to do some research, but I don't know. But I agree with Paul. It's on the players. And some of these players are stuck here. Some of these players are stuck here. So it really comes down to the players and when they finally get fed up. Like, Ovi, there were so many narratives about him before he won that cup. And he finally got fed up and changed the way he played. He committed to it. And won a Stanley Cup because of it. But, you know, some guys don't want to do that. So, Leafs need this win bad. Up 3-1, guys. They were up 3-1. Gotta win this game. Here comes Nyes. He gets knocked down. It's a good start. Good start. Jackson Ivany is spinning, and he takes a backhand shot. He just came back from injury as well for the Penguins. OEL breaks it out of the zone. Passes to Robertson, who curls back to the zone. He's going off for a change. Looks like the Leafs have maybe switched up the defense pairings here. Phil Myers out with OEL. Phil Myers started the game with Riley. They've been scored on, so change it up. McMahon trying to get it deep. He loses that battle to Erik Karlsson. That's where we're at now. No penalty there? Okay. 3-on-1. Shoot! Domi made like 4 moves and shot it right into Skinner's chest. And then a shot from the point, and Skinner holds. Goodness me. I'm shocked that wasn't a penalty, a tripping penalty, though, on McMahon. There's going to be no penalties in this entire game. Letting the boys play. Domi makes like 4 dekes, 4 feet in front of the net, and then shoots it right into Skinner's chest. Oh my god. Yes, Samantha scored the goal. Steel pen pirate. Carlson does look a lot better this year. He looks awesome, actually. He is shutting up the haters. He genuinely looks a lot better. OEL shoots it right off the draw, and that is swallowed up by Stuart Skinner as well. They are a bunch of individuals. Paul, you're nailing it today, man. You're right. They need even the Jays had a moment last season where they all kind of came together. Like, oh my goodness. Why am I forgetting his name? Gosman, Kevin Gosman was talking about how there was a moment or a couple moments during the season where they all came together. You know, they built some chemistry. They, you know, wanted to fight for each other. And sometimes you need those moments. But the thing for me with this group is you've been together for so long. It's not like you brought in a bunch of new players and you need like that galvanizing moment. Like, these guys have been together for a long time at this point. A long time. Yeah, some of these players aren't held accountable. The no movement clauses really throws accountability out the window, man. Tough. Because, like, they know they're sitting pretty. They can't even be put on waivers. Like, you can't even get Jacob Trouba threatened to be put on waivers and accept the trade. That's what happened. That's why he went to Anaheim. He didn't want to be traded. He had a no movement clause. Or a no trade clause. And they said, okay, we're going to put you on waivers then. You're going to go down to Hartford and you're going to make half the money that you're making now, and you're going to sit in the AHL for a year. And he said, okay, I'll go to Anaheim. Can't do that with these players. That's also not necessarily ethical, depending how you look at it, but that's what it is. Are you going to live stream when Portugal or Canada play at the World Cup? Probably. I mean, I'll probably do some fun stuff for that. Yeah, we can get that going for sure. I was streaming some of the Jays games when they're in the World Series. I streamed, if you go back on the channel, I was streaming game 3, I believe it was, that went to like 18 innings. I was here till like 4 o'clock in the morning, sitting here praying for it to end. Big save by Joseph Wool. Praying for it to end, and it just never would. Yeah, and I like to bring that up in videos and streams as well. Treliving did not sign those contracts. The only one he did sign was Nylander. But the Matthews no movement, Riley is looking... Why did Riley get a no move? Like, in what world does Morgan Riley get a no move clause? I get the superstar face of the franchise a couple years re-signing Austin Matthews, right? I get it with the no movement clause. Makes sense. Makes sense. Morgan Riley has a no movement clause? Why did David Kampf have a no trade clause? You know what I mean? Like, what is going on here? David Kampf was a Treliving signing too, by the way, but he was rushed. It was like his first move on the job. He had to get it done in a couple days, which is like not really an excuse, but like, I like the nice contract. I like some of the other contracts he signed, but yeah, some of this stuff he's inherited. Let's not forget that. The Tavares contract is all John's work, but like at the end of the day, it's still a great contract. Is there a point where you scratch an $8 million guy like Riley or Nylander? Riley makes less than $8 million, first of all. Not much, but less. But yeah, I mean, why not, right? But are they playing bad enough to warrant a scratching? I mean, Riley's been tough. Here he comes into the zone here. And this might be a hot take for some people. I don't even think it is, though. I like Tavares' first contract. He took less to come here. Market value was like 13, 14 million at that point. He could have made 14 million somewhere else for the player that he was. And he came here for 11. I didn't even think it was that bad. And I thought he lived up to his contract the whole time. He scored almost 50 goals the one year. Point of game player the whole time. solid center. You knew exactly what you're getting out of him. Face-off guy, all of that stuff. It was good. Oh, they tied it in the first minute, Profit. It was quick. 30 seconds in, they tied it quick. Pittsburgh wins the draw. Back to the point. Paul, I agree with that too. And he's one of the guys that I always thought did, when you look at the core, he was always trying his hardest. He doesn't have the abilities of some of the other guys. He doesn't have, he didn't have Matthew Schott. I'm not talking about right now. He can't skate like Marner. Whatever it is with Nylander, like whatever you want to say with the rest of the guys, he doesn't have the skill. He still definitely has skill, his own skill set, but like he's not maybe like those guys, but he never cheated the game, I feel like. He always worked hard. And one of the only guys, too, in terms of the top guys that finish their checks in the playoffs. Always does. Might not be the biggest check, but he's going to let you know that he's there. And that goes a long way sometimes. Yeah, I agree. They could have used the defenseman back then, too. And, I mean, the teams weren't built right. But, I mean, when you look at the teams like the 2021 team was good, man, at the time. Should have won there. Mentality issue. 2022, mentality issue. Should have closed it out. 2022, I thought they were actually making strides. That Game 5 comeback win was huge. That's huge. And then you squander it. And then 2023, I'd have no idea what that effort against Florida was. 24, disaster. Bunch of injuries. And then there's last year, you go out in the same way. So... But those earlier teams could have used the defenseman. They didn't have any defensemen. They had Morgan Riley and guys. Mario Ferraro was an interesting one as well. I feel like he might get traded at some point. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's to Toronto, but he will eventually get traded for sure. Stolar's going down, killed this as well. Wall was pretty good. If they closed out that game 3, it would have been different. They were up 3-1 in that game. If you're up 3-0 on the Panthers, that's a tall ask to come back 4 straight. And I believe the Panthers probably still could have done it, but it would have been a taller ask. But then you let them right back in the series and they took that lead. It was tough for the Leafs, man. Tough. They put themselves in a real tough position. Yeah, 2022 team was really good, man. And maybe they weren't ready to beat Tampa yet. Tampa ended up going to the final anyway, but yeah, when Tavares scored that wraparound goal, I was like, I'm going to see a championship finally. That was the feeling in that moment. I was like, oh my God, they actually look like they're just running it. They're running the table. They are playing the system. Everyone looks bought in. Everyone looked like they were playing for each other. They look like a cohesive unit. Like all of those thoughts came in at once, and I was like, I might actually see a championship here. And then they shit the bed. It was a good moment when Tavares scored that wraparound goal. It was fun. Not even that. I think they went up. I think Panthers scored a goal to make it 2-1, and then I think they went up 3-1. I think Tavares scored another one, a deflection, and I was like, oh my God, this is fantastic. And then they tied that game to bring it to overtime too, squandering the lead. Great. That was a good time. That was the last time I felt alive, when they were up 3-1 in that game. Tucker, Gary Roberts, Nylander almost on a breakaway again. I mean, that thought came across everyone's mind, Prophet. I'm just being honest. Like, nobody has to pretend like it didn't. Everybody thought for a second, like, holy smokes, this is, and the series is not done yet. But you're looking at it and you're like, being up 3-0, you're feeling good. Whoa, I thought that was going in. Great little defensive effort there by the Leafs, weathering the storm once again. Shots are 27-23 for the Leafs. 3-3 here in the third period. We got 12 minutes left. This one looks like it could be headed for overtime, but the last time I was live doing a watch-along against the Penguins, I said the same thing, and the Leafs won in regulation after being down 3-0. So let's see what happens here. But the Leafs, I don't like how they're getting pinned in their own zone. The last little while, at least. I feel at some point, Steel Pen, they're going to have to make those tax. Like, I feel like they're going to have to make a rule where you could take home. It's like what you take home. Like the cap, if that makes sense. And then like the rest is, you know, they're going to have to make some type of rule. Because you're right, there's a lot of markets like, and it's not just Canadian markets. Like teams like St. Louis, like they're not going to be able to lure big free agents for other factors as well. But you know, like these guys are all going to keep going to the same places. And the league is suffering a little bit. I think this is it's gonna change over the next couple of years, but the league is suffering a little bit right now because of the expansion too, because everyone's too spread out, right? There's too many, not that there's too many teams, but if they continue to expand, you're gonna see a decrease in goals scored. You're gonna see like a little bit, nothing crazy, but yeah. Yeah, Paul. And not only punch in Bennett's face in that moment, but even like a moment like this year where Mason Marchment runs your goalie after what happened last year and nobody stood up for him. I thought that was crazy. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, "Oh no, is this actually the team I cheer for?" Yeah, but not just so I didn't mean just tax. Because you are correct. I didn't mean just tax, but I mean like opportunities. So like you go to an LA or Toronto, you're probably going to make more money on endorsements. So like some players offset that stuff. But I feel like they're going to have to make a change because like it is going to affect some teams. I do believe that. So Courtney, I know for a fact that it was Shane Turner that gifted that sub. So you can thank Shane for that. He's been a longtime watcher, longtime listener, whatever you want to call it, on the channel here. So you can thank him for that. And he gifted, I think it was like 20 of them yesterday, or maybe not yesterday, the last game, last time we were live, which I think was Sunday night after the Dallas game. That's when it was. So shout out to Shane for that. Not here right now, but hope he has a Merry Christmas as well and is enjoying his holiday season. Wow, first penalty of the game. Wow. The Leafs are going to the power play. What is this going to look like? I have no idea. I don't have a single clue what we're about to watch, but ladies and gentlemen, we're going to watch it. The Leafs are going to the power play. Yeah, even if he's hurt, Matthews, like you can tell when a player has urgency, right? So he has looked better at times over the last couple of games, but still something about him. It's different, wrong. Lalonde's doing the power play today, but then it's going to become a group effort is basically how it was framed. So we'll see what that looks like. Michelli's on the first unit here. Michelli's on the first unit here on the point. Puck goes down the ice immediately. Well, nothing's changed, guys. Wrap it up, pack it up, hit the bus. Matthews carries in. What is happening? This already looks cleaner. Good opportunity, and they keep it in. Hold on. And the Leafs are going to the... Why did the refs do this? They wait all game to call a penalty, and then they call two back-to-back. They always do this. Michelli's getting a penalty now. So we'll go to 4-on-4. Where is it? Are you kidding me? That's a penalty? You got to hold on to your stick, man. That's 2 calls and the crowd's reacting to it now. 2 penalties in 2 games from Michelli that I look at and I go, that's not a penalty. That's horrific. Why is Riley still? I can't even talk. Why is Riley still the quarterback? Might as well have a pylon on the blue line. Should be OEL. Should be OEL. No 5 forwards. Should be OEL back there. All right. So power play's done. We got 4-on-4 for the next 125. Nylander breakaway. Oh, big save. He got penalty shot? How is that not a penalty shot? What is happening right now? Kindle's yelling because he doesn't think it's even a penalty. I'd like to see a replay. How is that not a penalty? That is a clear-cut breakaway. Great play by Nylander. The refs are... What is the penalty? Hold on. I hate it when refs take over a game like this. I hate it. Game management. Okay, first of all, it's a penalty. Second of all, absolutely a penalty shot now that I just saw it a second time. What are we doing here? Okay, at least a power play again. So 4-on-3 for 1 minute and 13 seconds. Well, the Leafs 5-on-4 power play sucks, so let's see what this one looks like. Can we get some movement here, guys? Okay, they're moving. They're moving. That opens up for... Oh. That looked better. Matthews opened up a little bit. I don't think they're actually doing much different. I feel like they're just free-flowing a bit. But... No, I am saying they're bad for both teams. This is horrible. Why not call anything the whole game and then do this now? The last 2 weren't even penalties, I don't even think. I mean, like the one on Kindle's, shoot that. They're just passing around the perimeter. Riley's got it at the point. Matthews open. Curl and shoot. Tavares has it behind the net. You have so much space, guys. So much space. Puck goes down the ice. Crowd is booing. You have so much space out there. 3 seconds left on the 4-on-3. 4-on-4 for 30 seconds now. Here comes Nylander. Shoots and just misses the net. Goes back the other way. Matthews doesn't even react to that. What is happening? That Domi's flying down the ice. Here he comes. Makes a nice move. He's in the inside. He shoots. He scores! What a goal by Max Domi! Oh, and his dad is in the crowd. Let's go. Let's go. Wow. Look at that. Through the neutral zone with speed. Beautiful goal. Beautiful goal. Beautiful. 4-3 Leafs. Here we go. Cut through the neutral zone. Just stay off being traded. This is the thing. He comes out with these performances every now and then. It's like, wow. Like, where were you hiding this? Where were you hiding this? Incredible. Leafs on the power play now for 14 seconds. And that'll be the end of penalties for the rest of this game, surely. Shots are 27-27. 4-3 Leafs. 8 minutes left in this third period. We got some rough stuff in the corner now. First goal in 20 games for Domi. Is that right? I could find out, actually. When was Domi's last game? Goal. He hasn't scored in a while, I'll tell you that. Max Domi's last goal. Is this December here? Oh, it's been a while, guys. Is this right? Max Domi hasn't scored since October 28th? That looks right. When he had 2 against Calgary? Max Domi hasn't scored a goal since the Blue Jays were in the playoffs? I think I'm reading that right. That's crazy. October 28th. Oh, McCabe shoots. It's still loose. Dakota Joshua in the corner. He wins the puck battle. It's thrown down low. Here comes Nyes. Nyes also demoted to the third line tonight. I can't believe it's been that long. That is crazy. That didn't even look right to me. Wow. Hey, Crankbait. What's going on? Nice to see you. Right before Christmas here. Seven minutes left in this game. Oh, the Leafs are almost gone 3-on-2 to center. That would have been nice. Domi's on a scoring streak. Oh boy, watch out. Come on, please close out this game. We need 2 minutes. 2 points, sorry. There's 7 minutes left. Here we go. Come on, guys. Pens are in the zone here. Creating some havoc. The Leafs are going to get it out, though. Nice. Get a change. Get a change. Laurent's pressuring. Here comes Tavares. He's driving wide. Macronial says, "'Twas the nightmare before Thanksgiving that just kept going and is still going. And 'twas the day before Christmas Eve. And let's see if the Leafs blow another lead." Nylander has it now. He's going to break out pretty easily. No pressure here. Will there be anything next Saturday? We'll keep you guys updated on streaming schedule. Usually good for one watch along during the week. Commercial break here. Leafs are up 4-3. Shots are pretty even. Usually pretty good for one stream watch along, I should say, during the week, and then we have you guys covered for post game streams. Otherwise, things have been pretty busy with holiday schedule and some other stuff going on, so that's been pretty hectic. But yeah, we're trying to be as consistent as possible. We got you guys covered here on the channel for everything. But just expect the stream one way or another, whether it's a watch along or a post game stream for every single game. So I would say, yeah, it might happen. It might happen. Crankbait saying they will hang on to this one. Guaranteed. We'll see. We'll see. Jaron, I'm going to take that as a compliment. I'm going to take that as a compliment. There are no guarantees with the team. That is right, Paul. You're absolutely correct. Never has been, never will be. Certainly isn't right now. We'll see what happens. But Penguins have come back from down 3-1, and they are now just a goal behind the Leafs here. Leafs with a 4-3 lead. Couple minutes left here. 5:40 left in the third period. Yeah, if Canada makes a gold medal game, I will stream the gold medal game. That would be a lot of fun to watch together. Those games are always so exciting too. Like junior hockey is just so sporadic, fast. It's crazy. Should be another good tournament. Canada has a good team this year, so I'm feeling hopeful about it. Like, they're pretty good in all facets, so I'm excited to see what they do. Back from commercial here. Huge goal for Max Domi. 2 shots on goal tonight for Max Domi. We got 5:44 left here in the third. The Leafs are actually out shooting the Penguins 28-27. Slight margin of 1 shot, but the score is also 4-3. Over the benches. That could be a power play for the Leafs here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Future Leaf Gavin McKenna, you're right. Okay, so Letang shoots this up. It doesn't hit the glass, and it goes over the benches. A bad camera angle. No penalty. No penalty. All right. What is the Leaf schedule coming up here? I kind of stopped looking after Christmas, I'm not going to lie. So they play, I know it's Ottawa on Saturday because they can't have too much travel. And then Detroit on Sunday. Okay, so it is a back-to-back. We'll have you guys covered for at least one of those games for sure. 4-1, Game 7 versus Boston with 10 minutes to go. My Boston Bruins fan went out to mow his lawn and discussed Leafs losing OT. Next day, boss comes in and gives me the choke sign. I remember I had hockey that day, and we were all watching the game, and the ref was giving us updates, and we're all freaking out on the bench. And then we all watched in horror as the Bruins scored 3 goals once we got off the ice on the TVs in the lobby. And I made it home in time to watch this team break my heart. So that was a lot of fun. And I think I was too young to like appreciate the playoffs before when they were in them. So 2013 was the first time where I could really like analyze things and like I understood what was happening and like, you know, the little intricacies of the game in the playoffs, like last change and stuff like that. So 2013 was the first time for that. So I was just destroyed. I was like, how does this happen? How does this happen? But it's not happening in this game. They're going to hold on to this. Get out of this game with 2 points. Kosovo takes a shot in, and he makes a big save there. We are headed to another commercial, and the last one of the evening. Last one of the evening. The coach they let go has been there for a while. What's up with that? Which coach? If it's Mark Savard, he's been there since last summer. So this was only a second season. So he made it a year and a half with the club. Mark Savard had some experience with the Windsor Spitfires, Calgary Flames, and he became assistant coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Sidney Crosby moves into 8th all-time in NHL assists with his 1,080th assists, passing Adam Oates, who had 1079. That is insane. Somebody on Twitter just said, disgusting goal by Domi. Unfortunately, we won't see it again for a month. Pretty funny and very accurate. Very accurate. Also, slump busters today, guys. William Nylander scored his first goal since November 26th, so almost a month Nylander hasn't scored, which is insane. I feel like it hasn't been that long. Michelli scored his first goal since November 8th. Of course, he's been scratched for a lot of those. Actually, he hasn't played, I think, since pretty much around that time. I was at that game that he scored against Utah, and you know, obviously he's been scratched until a couple games ago. Max Domi scored his first since October 28th. Slump busters in this game. Profit, I think it, yeah, when like non-Leaf fans looking from the outside in just go, did your top guy score tonight? But when you watch the games, you can tell that some of these guys just do not give an F some nights. And I think that's the problem why a lot of fans get on these guys. Because at the end of the day, they're great players, right? But they have been struggling this year. Like, you can't just pretend like this is not happening. But I don't think there's more crazy expectations than anybody else in the league. Look what Nathan MacKinnon's doing this year. Matthews on point. Matthews is on pace for as many points as Nathan MacKinnon has right now. You know what I mean? So if you're considered a top 3, top 5 player in the league, you should probably be in and around that, maybe. Unless, of course, it is the coach, but look what the team did with this system last year. Because a lot of the guys were bought into it. And it just seems like mentally they've kind of checked out on certain things this year. I don't know what it is. I don't know exactly what the difference is. Is it the roster? Is it that much worse? One guy made a difference like that? I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that. Yeah, Cook completely. I think that wasn't that the hit that Don Cherry went up to Matt Cook on Hockey Night in Canada and was like giving it to him? And he said, like, I said I would tell you to your face, and here I am. Isn't that this? I think that was the same hit, right? After that hit. Yeah, McKinnon's crazy this year. Maybe a bad comparable. Not really, though, because, like, you know, everyone likes to use those guys' names in the same sentences. But yeah, we have a bunch of goalies, and last year I thought the defense was pretty good. Tanev quietly good tonight as well. Not bad at all. Kind of forgot he was playing, not going to lie. Giving away Nylander here on a one-on-one. Oh, nice move by Nylander. Cuts to the net. Oh, my. I don't know if Skinner got that, but that would have been perfect. Man. He just missed. That would have been brilliant. Yeah, McDavid's been unbelievable in his last, like, 9 games. Crazy. Here comes Domi to center. Interesting play over to McMahon. He loses it in his feet. It's on goal. Here comes Matthews. Ooh, nice shot. Oh, it's in on goal. Stopped at the line, and both Leafs defensemen go after it, and they both lose it. Yeah, Stuart Skinner. Oh, they pulled the goalie. This is early. Okay. Shots are 29-28. The Pens are in the zone. Here we go, guys. Lock in. Lock in. Oh, here comes Domi. Shoots it off the boards to McMahon on a breakaway on the empty net. And that'll ice it. Perfect. Perfect outcome for this team. They just have to lock in for just a minute more. They're up by 2. Empty net goal by Bobby McMahon on the breakaway. Assist from Domi. Domi legacy game. Domi with a huge performance in this one. Huge. Big win for this group. Well, I actually don't want to get ahead of myself. It's looking like a big win for this group. Let's go, boys. 5-3. I believe Pittsburgh just called a timeout. See if the Leafs can lock this down for the last 2 minutes of this game. Penguins called a timeout. 30 shots to 28. The Leafs are actually out shooting an opponent tonight. Wow. Merry Christmas to you too, JC. Hey, Merry Christmas to you too, Tombstone. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. Hopefully the Leafs can Ride this out. Skinner is going back to the bench. There is, you might be going back to the crankbait. You did say that they were going to win this game. Skinner's going back to the bench here. Skinner also looks weird. He's got the basic helmet with like the Penguin sticker on it. 158 left here. And I believe, well, at least have possession here in their own zone. And they get it out. So Skinner stays in the net. There goes the shot in. I think Skinner might be going to the bench. He is. It's an empty net. Goes up the middle. Oh, now empty again. It's out to center. Nylander's looking for it. Here comes Nyes. He gets it to Tavares. Gives it to Nylander, and he puts it in the net. 6-3. Way to close out this game. Way to close out this game. Nylander looked like he was trying to give that back to Tavares, like he didn't want it. He wanted that back to Tavares, but he put it in the back of the net. So 2 goals for Nylander tonight. Goal from Domi. McMahon gets one. Looking good. This was a good one. This was a good, obviously 2 of them on an empty net. Let's take it easy, right? But still looking pretty good. This was a good outcome. This was a good outcome. 6-3 win for the Leafs. Hopefully this continues after Christmas. I would prefer not to throw in the towel. I've never said that the Leafs should tank this year. I don't believe that. The players need to be held accountable and they need to start winning, frankly. And hopefully this is a sign of good things to come after Christmas. Do I think it will happen? I don't know. This was a good game though. I'm going to enjoy it for, thanks for sending us off to Christmas on this note. The Penguins have pulled their goalie again. Kindle puts it in on goal. Nice stop by Joseph Woll, and he eats that up. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Oh, Myers is getting a penalty here. Okay. Yeah, firing the coach would do nothing for that, so. No, I do not want to see any of that garbage narrative that firing the assistant coach, by the way, made this win possible. That is, I don't want to. Oh, my God. The Leafs should have lost today. The Leafs should have lost today. I wouldn't say it has us believing again, but this was a good game. I enjoyed this game. They won this game. The Leafs penalty kill, by the way, for as much talk as we've been given about the power play, it's been good all season. I mentioned this in the video about Marc Savard being fired. The penalty kill is actually 6th in the league. It's very good. Very good. It was 8th the other day, and in this game it's 6th. Or it's currently sitting at 6th in the league, I should say, during this game. Crosby shoots, another big save by Woll. It's loose, though. Got 15 seconds left here. And that'll be all she wrote. The Leafs will win this one. McMahon shoots it off the boards, and it goes all the way down, and that'll kill the game. And the Leafs have won. 6-3 final. Great effort, honestly, tonight from the guys, and a great win, 6-3. And it should read 6-3, but I have not updated it yet. But my record streaming this year is very good. Maybe I should stream some more games. The Leafs seem to win whenever I stream, so it might just be me, guys. 6-3 final for your Maple Leafs. There it is on the board. That is 1-0 without Savard. Yes, I'm running it. The Leafs That's hilarious. But yeah, that is all she wrote. Leafs with a big 6-3 win over the Pittsburgh Penguins. It wasn't looking good early on. Well, it was. The Leafs were always kind of up, but obviously they went down 1-0. That goal was called back, and then they didn't really look back after that. So big game from Max Domi. Obviously Nylander with 2 goals there. One of them in the empty net. He was trying to find Tavares there, but good, possible, or best possible good result for the Leafs. An actual good effort from the team. Good stuff there. Hey, thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. I'm gonna do a bunch more of these. I hope you guys tune in for these. I'm trying to add some more stuff to the stream too, to make it more like immersive, because obviously I can't literally show the game, but I'm trying to add some more stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. I know a lot of people, a lot of you guys like Profit. Paul's tuned in before. Shane's not here, but shout out to Shane. A lot of you guys, Papa Polly, everybody's been tuning in, so appreciate that. But trying to add some more, and we will be adding more in the new year as well. It should be a lot of fun. And if they do ultimately make the playoffs, we got some fun stuff planned like we did last year. But that'll be a lot of fun as well. Oddly, secondary scoring isn't a problem. I know it's weird, isn't it? Prophet says, and if the Leafs are ever trailing in a game, you should randomly go live and they'll come back. Trust me. Have you seen the wild comeback they pulled with you live? I know, it's crazy. Twice. I mean, they were up today, but I mean, twice that's happened already this year. So crazy. Elliot Friedman saying that it was a must win for the Toronto Maple Leafs today, and they went out and won. But good stuff from the Leafs there. Well, Mike, I'm glad you enjoyed, and I hope you tune back in. If you haven't yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Because you get to stay up to date with everything that's going on with the Leafs. You get more watch-alongs like this, and not just watch-alongs, you get post-game streams, all that fun stuff, depending on the game. But guys, listen, big win from the Leafs, 6-3. We're going to wrap it up here. I hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you are celebrating over the course of the next 2 weeks. Happy New Year. I'm sure I'll be streaming in between, that's for sure, but hope everyone has a great holiday the next couple of days. The uploads don't stop here. Nick and I are going to have you guys covered every single day through the holidays, so stay tuned. If you're a little bit bored, there are some lulls through the holiday. Everybody's seeing family and stuff like that. If you're a little bit bored tomorrow, if you're a little bit bored and have some downtime on Christmas Day, we're going to have videos on the channel. We're going to have a lot of content coming, so stay tuned for that. Thank you, everyone. Very grateful for all of you tuning in today, and us all sharing our depression of the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. So great Christmas gift from the Leafs to win this game. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you later in the week. We'll see you for another video tomorrow. And let's see if the Leafs can build something off of this. I know that's been the cliche all season. Let's see if they can build something off of this game. Thank you, everyone. Have a very Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Stay safe. And we'll see you for our next stream.
Digest your daily dose of gold. Stories of the bold where legends aren't told. From first pop drop to the season's fall. Tune in.